Do I oh Tamri shooby doo fast travel through my heart. I booted up my PC back in 2006. Met a guy named Martin, man, his chin could break bricks. Dedrick gates were open and I saved Kvatch that night. But these days, Todd Howard can't script a game right. I miss the wacky guards yelling, "Stop, you violated the law." And mud crabs with tood like they're flexing their claw. I'd stroll through the shivering aisles, high on skooma and dreams. Now Starfield's got me mining space rocks and jeans. Back to the Oblivion, baby, where the quests were weird and gravy. From Shiogarat's cheese to Lucian's ghost, it had more charm than Todd could ever post. Yes, Starfield's big, but it's dull and gray. I'd rather close an Oblivion gate today. Now listen here, Todd, you silver-tongued crooner. You sold me lies smoother than a Khajiit moon sugar dealer. You see that planet? You can go there. Yeah, I went, it sucked, it's just a rock and despair. I want my persuasion wheel, my glitchy horse on a roof. I want that beggar with 6 voices telling me the truth. Make the liar add more insight and flair than all your procedurally generated air. Back to the Oblivion, baby, where the gates were hot and the jokes weren't lazy. Yeah, Skyrim was fine and the mods were neat, but Oblivion's heart had a weirder beat. So Todd, my boy, if you're hearing this song, bring back the weird and don't take so long. Doo-wop, Daedric pop, Martin Septim never dropped, but Starfield made me stop playing. Oh, Todd, please stop.
I am never gonna financially recover from this.
Imagine a hero shooter where the hero never showed. Imagine a game with a player base that just refused to grow. A 5v5 hero shooter with gameplay that's just okay, and characters that remind me of Tupperware and white bread. No, I'm not talking about Overwatch. Please stop bringing up Overwatch. This game is not Overwatch. It's actually something else. Imagine a game with a story that no one watches. A game that costs $40 that Sony totally botches. It has all my favorite characters, like Lemmy, Dawn, and Craig. At least, I think that's what their names are. I never bothered to check. Concord like the grave, your legacy is safe as a game that no one played, and a price that no one paid. Boop-a-doop-ba, beep-a-doop-da, scoop-a-boop-ba, beep-beep-beep-beep-beep, phlegm. Concord was about as good as accidentally peeing on your own leg. Concord, we're here to lay you to rest. We know you tried your best. You copied so much cool stuff just to turn out lame in the end. I'll never forget my favorite moments, like when Hot Sauce Guy jumped. Remember when he jumped? That was really cool. A rat just ran by on my desk, and even the rat didn't want to play Concord, even though I blessed him with the chance. The $40 he could afford, but the rat just stared on in a trance. Rat, 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 rat. Concord's dead. Rat, 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 rat. Concord's dead. The Costco guys made more money than you. They were just on Jimmy Fallon too. Imagine Lennox being on Jimmy Fallon, because I literally can't. The rat on my desk is eating all my Cheerios and grapes. And also Concord is dead. Concord like the grave. Your legacy is safe as a game that no one played, and a price that no one paid. Rat attacked a beep a dap. Skim, milk, the rat fleet, doo-da, doo-da. A guy said he really liked it, and then a bunch of rats ate his face. That's the sound he made when Concord passed away. I wish things turned out different, but either way I'm getting paid. Concord's dead, Concord's dead. And boy is my face red. When the game came out, everybody overslept. Concord's dead, Concord's dead. Holy crap, Lois, Concord's dead. When the game out, people played everything else instead.
They sure did. They sure did. But you know what they didn't play instead? You know what they also didn't play? Star Wars Outlaws, which is one of the games we're going to talk about today, because Ubisoft responded to it. They had a shareholder meeting, shared some info, some little tidbits. It's pretty interesting, actually. I found and got access to the full thing, which we won't go through the whole thing, because like it's a shareholder meeting. It's kind of dry and kind of boring. But you can see the man, Yves Guillemot.
Debate and discussion. This is an opportunity for you to ask any questions you may have and if you do have a question, please introduce yourself first. The floor.
So obviously it doesn't match because he speaks French. Shocker. So they have a real-time translator and everything. But this is what shareholder meetings are like, because it's, okay, you may now come down to the floor and you may ask your questions of the leadership team. And so it's kind of dry, but there were some genuinely interesting moments in this event. Like basically how this works is that they have usually a couple of executives. So they might have the CEO and then the CFO. They might have, usually like a lot of these meetings, they'll have a lot more of the executive suite team up on stage. But in this case, it seems like they just had the two. But then all of these people, like each one of these guys that you see may represent one like firm or fund that holds hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Ubisoft stock. Like these guys are actual movers and shakers that have real impact. Some of them are employees that also are representing groups of employees and stuff. But typically, like the people in this room have actual influence, okay? They have actual influence. Because if they sell off their huge chunk of shares, that hits their bottom line pretty hard, because it signals to everybody else that they've lost confidence, and it's just can cause problems. Which is why it's all the more hilarious that they asked some pretty hardcore questions. Like they did not go easy on the executive team. I'll just tell you what, they did not go easy. And we're going to talk about it because it's kind of entertaining and fun. So we'll get into that. As for other little tidbits and things we're going to talk about, they also casually, where is it? We're going to touch on this a little bit later, because they are finally adding to Avatar Frontiers of Pandora a feature people have been asking for since before launch, which is full like third person perspective mode. They've overhauled a bunch of other stuff with it. They'll show you here. So now you can actually play the game looking at the Na'vi you are controlling instead of like a weird blue Far Cry. You can actually see it in third person, which is cool. This whole thing is kind of fascinating because basically what happened with Avatar and Star Wars is they had Ubisoft Massive making them. And Ubisoft Massive, of course, they're the guys that make The Division. I mean, that's their bread and butter. So they got assigned to make this stuff, and they had to put out Avatar and then Star Wars Outlaws, both in less than a year they had to release. So they pumped it out. Like, it was funny because they put out Avatar, and then it's like 8-9 months later, they put out, I guess it would be like 10-ish months later, they put out Star Wars Outlaws. And a lot of the people that worked on Avatar were working on Star Wars. They just transitioned over. But after they launched it, they put a new creative director in place. They replaced the leadership team because like the old crew had to go move on and work on The Division. And so they came in with a fresh set of eyes and just started working on some of these like no duh kind of things. Like in Star Wars Outlaws, you couldn't carry a gun with you if you hopped on your speeder bike for some reason. Like that was a creative decision they made, which doesn't make any sense. You pick up a rifle, you're like, okay, time to get away. Set it down and then hop on. It didn't make any sense, but it was a weird directorial decision they made, and they reversed it once the game came out. So Star Wars Outlaws, Avatar, they're both getting surprisingly a lot of love, and it's good to see. That update for third person comes in December, so it's going to be a little bit before we can see it ourselves, but I think that's a good thing to be doing. I'm glad to see it. One of the other things I just want to give a shout out to, okay? There's a little shout out, little something. One of you guys mentioned on stream the other day, you were like, hey, Luke, have you tried Eriksholm? Eriksholm, The Stolen Dream is what it's fully known as. And I was like, I've heard of it. And I looked it up and I was like, oh wait, no, I do remember this game. It is a like cinematic stealth game. It's freaking gorgeous.
Good morning.
She's gone.
This isn't about me.
Oh, it's always about you, Hannah, and now you've brought the police here.
They're looking for Herman.
Damn it, Herman.
Go after her! Now!
Seriously, it's gorgeous. It's like outrageous.
Just wait for me if you can't find me.
Okay.
So I bought it. It's $40 on Steam. It's a smaller game. I think most people are saying it's about 10-ish hours long. And so I took a break from Death Stranding 2 and started going through this. I'm only like 3-ish hours in, but honestly, I'm having a good time. It's nothing that's gonna like blow your mind. There's not a ridiculous amount of gameplay complexity or anything. This is a clip from very, very early in the game, so don't worry about like crazy spoilers or anything. But it's just like a really simple stealth puzzle game that starts to ramp up in complexity a little bit as time goes on. With, you know, of course, guard patrols, and then you have to move and hide bodies, and then they give you different tools to distract, whether it's throwing rocks or using like they're kind of like sleep darts, I guess, in most games and things like that. Then there's some other puzzles and things you have to do to get around guards. It gets pretty interesting. There's a lot of variety and variability there. It's for a game coming from a team that has not put out a game before. It's quite impressive because, as you can see, it's coming from River End Games. This is their first product. Like, this is the first game they've ever put out. It's wild. And it has a demo. So you don't even have to put up the $40 to try it. So I recommend you try it. I'm actually having a pretty solid time with it. And, you know, anytime there's a brand new studio, an up and coming studio that puts out something that's polished, that's beautiful, that is just kind of fun, even if it's not like the biggest game ever, I like to support it if I can. And I recommend you check it out yourself as well, because it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So there you go. There you go. Once I finish it, I'll let you know kind of what I thought of it, but I'm having a good time. Having a good time. Hannah, thank you for that one. Hey, Luke, finally caught another stream. Got a question. Ever played Metro games? Yeah, way back in the day. What was it? I think it was Exodus. Metro Exodus. let's see. By way back in the day, I mean 2019. Yeah, way back then. Yeah, it feels way back in the day. That's before the dark times, you know. That's it feels like back in the day. But yeah, Metro Exodus, I played that. It's been a while. I honestly should replay it because it's been long enough that I probably wouldn't remember most of it. But yeah, I like Metro Exodus. I like Metro just in general. It's really, I've really liked them. I've seen some people that play them and are really freaking good at them to the point where it's like scary. It's like a little ridiculous, but yeah. Metro Exodus, Sam Story. Yeah, see, I didn't do any of the DLC or anything. Like, this was so long ago. I think I played it on the Xbox One. I think. I had like an Xbox One X, maybe. I don't know. It's been a while. Recently 100%ed all 3. Awesome experience. Yeah, I probably should. I mean, I hear great things about it. Samuel, thank you for the 13 months. Pick your Remedy or Poison, Death Stranding or Horizon. Also 13 months. Let's go. 13 months. Let's go. Let's get it. And then as for Remedy or Poison, Death Stranding or Horizon. If you, by Death Stranding, you mean the first game, the first Death Stranding? I don't know. After Death Stranding 2, the first game feels so hollow in comparison because there's so much more at the second game. But I don't know. I don't know. If the question is just like which I prefer. I think it honestly depends on my mood. I think so. Like, I really like Death Stranding as a chill, like rainy day, turn off your brain and just veg out delivering packages game. It's really good for that. You don't think about it too much. I know some people love Kojima games for the story. I love them for the opposite of that. So like usually the more I try to think about the story and deal with it, the more I just get frustrated by the dialogue. Because I insist, Kojima is like an alien trying to communicate with people. Like, he doesn't know how human beings talk to each other. It's really funny. Even in the second game, it's better, but there's still some dialogue where you're just like, have you ever spoken to a human being before? Like, what are we doing? I don't know. If you had to ask me right this moment, which I would go for, Death Stranding. I feel like I burn out on Horizon for like 3-4 years at a time. You know, like I'll play it and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. It's I don't know. Horizon, I just, for whatever reason, find exhausting. I think it's the micromanagement of the inventory, having to grab all of those bajillion different little pieces of crafting materials to then go and craft not just armor upgrades and weapons and stuff, but like you also have to use that to craft all of your ammunition and everything. I just find that to be a ton of busy work, you know, and it just burns me out. Burns me out, man. Oh, dude, there were some facepalm moments in some of the dialogue in Death Stranding 2. I won't even lie as a Kojima fan. Yeah, well, and it's important to note, Samuel, that doesn't ruin the game. That doesn't mean the game is therefore horrible. Like, all I'm saying is we can acknowledge that we like a lot of Kojima stuff, but that he also writes dialogue like an alien trying to relate to human beings that he's never met before. And, you know, maybe that's part of the charm. Are you hyped for Mafia? Dude, after the gameplay preview and the gameplay drop, I'm much more excited than I was. I was starting to get a little braced. Like, hearing that they spent 3 hours on 3 chapters that were very early in the game to the point where it really seems like just tutorial stuff. That really gives me confidence that this could be like a 12 to 15 hour game instead of what I was worried about, like Jor mentioned, which was like a 5 to 6 hour game, because for a while it kind of looked like it was going to be that short, especially because they wouldn't say anything about it. They wouldn't share anything about it. They were very, very coy with it. And it's like, you trying to hide something or not mention something? I don't know. Oh, this is kind of funny. This is a fun little tidbit. Did you guys see this post on Twitter, X, whatever, yesterday? Went like kind of viral, not even kind of, just 13 million views. I'd consider that viral. This post went out on my way. And it's just like a concept piece of like, I guess you would maybe say this like a late 90s first person adventure game, kind of reminiscent of Elder Scrolls Arena, you know, way back in the day. Looks so cool. Yeah. Well, here's the funny thing. So this went viral. A bunch of other people started retweeting it. The retweet of that also went viral. I would commit crimes to play a full game like this. And what's funny is that people like scrolled down just a little bit and immediately had like a total like crisis of self. Like people lost their minds because this guy, you know, he follows up. If you're a 3D artist and want to help me make this game, slide in my DMs. Okay. Oh wait, no, did he delete it? Oh, he did delete it. The other reply he had was asking Elon Musk to invest in his game because he uses X AI tools to do it. But as you can see, he confirms here it's Midjourney, and then he uses other AI tools to turn it into a video. So this is not a concept of a game that was like built in a game engine. This is just an AI generated picture, then put into another AI tool to turn it into a video. And dude, watching people pull back and recoil was quite funny because it's like, yeah, right now, I think that as like a proof of concept tool or like a conceptualization tool, the AI image generators do a good enough job. Like they show you this and it's like, oh yeah, that could be a cool game. I'd be interested in playing a game like this. But turning this idea into a full video game is not something you can just have an AI tool handle or do. Like the reason you don't see a lot of games like this is because it's freakishly difficult to do. I mean, this would not be easy at all. But I did find it quite funny how it was kind of like the 1-2 punch. People are like, oh, that looks cool. Wait, it's AI. Never mind. And just immediately give up on it. The fact that he deleted the post asking Elon to invest in it is a little funny because it was right beneath this one. And now it's not listed. Yeah, now it's not listed. I guess he deleted the post asking Elon for money. Fair play. But yeah, it turns out it is just an AI generated picture and then put through other tools to turn it into a video. I don't know if it's Google Veo or whatever, but yeah, it's not actually a working concept of a game. It is just an AI generated video, but it does show you that this type of game would be cool if somebody could do it well. That's the takeaway. Will they ever do it well? I don't know. Maybe, but probably not. It's going to be a while before you would see anything like this because, again, this is just like putting some prompts into an AI image generator and stuff. So it's not actually like somebody worked on a concept of this. Like you remember back in the day, like a month or two ago, I retweeted a...
Breadman donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Hi Luke, recent viewer here. I'm putting together a list for my 14-year-old brother of top 50 games you need to try at some point before you die or the sun blows up. What are some of your picks?
Top 50 games. Again, The Forgotten City, Expedition 33, of course, I'd say. Red Dead 2, I think everybody needs to play. Even Red Dead 1, you could probably put on there. Probably GTA 4, the original Red Faction, Assassin's Creed 2, Mafia. I'll say Mafia Definitive Edition or Mafia 1, you could pick. I'd also put on Mafia 2 because I freaking love it. The Last of Us. What else? The God of War trilogy, I think is really good. Witcher 3, of course, yeah. I would either do, if I can only pick one game in a series, I would, or in a trilogy or something, I'd probably put Tears of the Kingdom above Breath of the Wild, but Breath of the Wild would also be a good one. Uncharted, if I could do the Uncharted trilogy, that would be good, because I think that really helps you understand how PlayStation got to where they are right now. I think that would be good. Yeah, you have to put Halo in there. I think you have to put Halo. Cyberpunk, modern Cyberpunk. KCD, if you can put KCD 1 and 2 as a package deal and then let players go through that story as one chunk, that would be awesome. I still think it would be so cool to be able to play KCD 1 and immediately go into 2 without knowing what happens or where it goes. That'd be so cool. It'd be so cool. Man. I don't know. Guess we'll see. This was a proof of concept that I shared back in April because I saw Colonia do it. And basically he went in and used some assets from the Unreal Engine store, is my understanding, but created this prototype of a game where you are a hieroglyph running just like in that dream sequence in The Prince of Egypt, but it's like a puzzle platformer game where you are a relief on a bunch of hieroglyphs. Freaking super clever idea, right? How cool is that? How cool is that? But this is an actual thing somebody made. Somebody actually built this and got it running. You know, this is not an AI image prompt turned into a video through another AI tool. This is an actual thing running in a game engine. So, you know, this I find significantly more impressive, but still. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, wait, what? Oh, wait, is this true? Is this true? Have you guys seen the price of Metal Gear Solid Delta? Have you guys seen the price yet? Okay, no. In USD, can somebody in let's see, what is it? If you have euros, if you shop with euros in your country, can you check the price on Steam? This guy's saying that it's 80 euros where he's at. I don't know where he's at, but it says 80 euros. I just pulled it up and it says $70 USD, 80 for the premium version. You're saying, yeah, it's 80 euros in the PlayStation store? It is 80. 80 in Germany. He's Romanian. Okay. Well, there you go. 80 euros. 80 euros. $70 dues, but 80. $116 dues. Sorry, yeah. It's 70 freedom bucks, but 80 euros and 116 Australian dollar dues. Man, woof. That's unfortunate. that's unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? Is that one a Game Pass one too? I don't remember if that's a Game Pass title or not. It might be. I don't think it's Game Pass. Oh, I bet I'm thinking just because it was in a like Xbox showcase. I bet that's where my brain's at. Battlefield is also saying, so open weapons versus closed weapons. This has been a topic of hot debate with Battlefield. Why not both? Starting at open beta, players can choose official playlists with signature weapons locked to class or not. More to come. So they're creating playlists where you can have it either way. If you want it totally open, you can play a playlist with that. If you want locked weapons to specific classes, you can do that. Interesting. I don't know how that works. I mean, I guess if you have enough players, you can make it anything work just with different playlists. But hey, again, I to their credit, they're not just doubling down, because it seemed like they were doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on just having everything open and not locking anything. But yeah, they one of the reports was saying they estimate 100 million players, that is ridiculous. I mean, that's just ridiculous. That is insane. Like, come on. It's probably going to be hopefully good, but they're not doing 100 million players. I mean, like that's pretty ridiculous. But if you even if you got everybody to bail off of Call of Duty, I still don't think you get to 100 million. Maybe they're saying over the lifetime. I don't know. I'd have to look up to see the exact verbiage of what they said, because again, it's just very vague. Very vague. Real quick, I feel like I should share with you guys a couple of inspirational clips, just like a couple things for you to learn and grow with. So here's just something I tell you guys, you're able to do anything as long as you dream it and as long as you work your ass off, right? I've tried to encourage you guys as best I can with that. And here I'm going to show you a video that just proves that point. You can do anything. You just have to believe in yourself.
Go.
You can do it. Believe in yourself. Are you not inspired? Did that not inspire you? did that not inspire you? Okay, well, I don't even know what to do with you anymore. That didn't inspire you? Okay, well, how about a little snippet of this guy? He's just gonna give us a rundown on his hygiene, okay?
Everyone, I just dry shaved my upper body. It's July 18th, Friday, 2025, 12:30 p.m.
Okay.
Again, I just dry shaved my upper body. I used baby oil on my face.
He has hundreds of these videos of him explaining how he shaves and oils himself. It's pretty fantastic. It's pretty fantastic. Like, come on. Oh, it's frozen. For whatever reason, he puts coconut oil on his hair and just combs it straight down. He says it prevents gray hair, which it does appear to be doing. So to his credit, I guess I shouldn't doubt him. But there you go, a little inspiration on personal hygiene as well, for you. So there you go. There you go. Yeah, I tried to share with you a little piece of my For You page every once in a while because, I think it's good to bring you guys back, bring you back, ground you in the truth that is coconut oil and stuff. Here's this one, just somebody having a good time at a store.
I really want to kick one of these tires right here. But there's people around. Maybe they'll leave.
Oh. You know what? Sometimes I feel like kicking tires too. We've all been there. We've all been there. But they did it. They went and did it. I respect it. I respect the hustle. You tell yourself you want to do things. These people just go and do it. They just do it. Your feeds are crazy, dude. And I'm very proud of that. Yes. It started to learn. And now I'd say 80% of the videos I'm shown have like 5 likes, 10 likes. It's like very, very niche stuff. When somebody sees a video and they're like, oh, legendary For You page poll, it's like, that's my whole feed is just that stuff. Just the deepest cuts, the most inspiring content. Yeah. This guy, Z-Man the Vegan. There you go. So he does have new music coming out, just so you know. Yeah, I know you were wondering. So just letting you know. There is new music coming. Yeah. Inspiring. Good. I'm glad you're inspired. I'm inspired too, frankly. I'm inspired too. Let's talk about, let's actually get into this, some of these details, okay? I think we can break this up into a couple pieces and discuss each one individually, because there's the discussion over Stop Killing Games, because Ubisoft responded to that, and then they responded to Star Wars Outlaws specifically. They also responded to some AC Shadow stuff. I've heard some people say, oh, they said that they only spent $116 million on AC Shadows. If you actually listen to the investor call and you're not just going off of what some article said, what he said was we spent over 100 million euros on the game. And over 100 million could mean 101 million. It could mean 400 million. All of it's technically in that range of over 100 million euros. So we don't actually know how much they spent on the core development of AC Shadows, other than it was above 100 million euros, which is at least $116 million US. Some independent analyst estimations put it somewhere in the range of 200 to 400. It's just not really clear. People don't really know for sure. And then when asked by investors at this call, he said over 100 million. So we just, like, we don't know. We don't really know what the true number is. But most industry analysts actually think that AC Shadows is on track to be profitable, unlike the other game that we're going to talk about, AC or Star Wars Outlaws, which was not. And they're trying to salvage it. They're trying to like get a long tail on that, but that's what we're going to talk about right now. So, new mini segment. Brr. Okay, so Ubisoft just had their general shareholder meeting, or Assemblée Générale 2025, and I actually went onto their investor page and found the full meeting. It's quite dry. I mean, the first big chunk of it is Mr. Yves Guillemot, the CEO, who we talk about a lot, quadruple A man himself. He talked about their current vision for everything, casually announced a few things that haven't been announced. Went through a bunch of financial documents and things and all of that. And as you can see, the way they have these websites set up is that they have like the slideshow on one half of it, of the web page, and then you can fast forward and then, you know, it syncs with the video, which is kind of cool. But it's all in French. Oops, they do have an English translator for a lot of this. So for certain sections of it, when they're doing like Q&A, for example.
Coming consoles such as the Switch 2, it will have a new version of the game. So improvements on the game have not finished, and we will continue improving it for future releases. As for the upcoming portfolio, we have already given some insight into some projects that are in the pipeline. Frederick will give you as much information as possible.
So it's a little dry. It's a little dry. So we're going to rely on excerpts as we talk about this, because it's a live translation from a Frenchman talking about the finances and stuff. So it's a little dry and tough to appreciate. But what we wanted to talk about today in this clip is specifically that they responded to Star Wars Outlaws. So the interesting thing about these meetings, which makes them quite fun and entertaining, is that you see all these people sitting in the chairs all around. In case you don't know what a shareholder meeting like this is, typically what happens is you have executives up on stage. In this case, you just have Yves Guillemot, the CEO, and I forget his name. I believe this is the CFO, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. But they have a couple of executives on stage, and then these people, some of them are employees that are representing, you know, a studio or something. But a lot of them represent investment firms. A lot of them. So each one of these people could represent a firm that holds, you know, $10 million worth of Ubisoft stock, or potentially even $1 billion worth. So there's some big players in this room. You see the people with the slicked back hair. These are the guys to watch out for. So the reason that's interesting is because these are people who in large part have actual influence. Like if they tell Eve, hey, we're dissatisfied with X, fix it, or we're going to dump our shares, causing the stock price to plummet. Eve has to listen. Like they have actual sway. Some of these people, not all of them. Some of them have much, you know, very little sway. Some of them have a lot of sway, okay? Some of them do. And that's why it's all the more interesting that they kind of got grilled on a couple of key points. So one of the things they got grilled about was AC Shadows. They got grilled about the stock price dropping like 40% in a decade. They got grilled about, I think in some cases it was way more than 40%, but that's what the shareholder mentioned. They got grilled about how they've approached like ongoing development with games featuring cultural issue discussions and things when that seems to be an albatross around those games next. Specifically asked about wokeism within game development, within AC Shadows and things, and how that affected their development pipeline going forward. A lot of interesting little tidbits. A lot of it you don't get firm answers on, but one person asked very specifically about Star Wars Outlaws and what happened there. And Yves Guillemot did respond to it in a classic Yves Guillemot way. He said, for Star Wars Outlaws, we didn't reach sales targets, and the game suffered from a number of items, which he's saying like there's many reasons why it failed. But first, it suffered from the fact that it was released at a time when the brand, Star Wars, the brand that it belonged to, was in a bit of choppy waters. And the game had a few items that we still needed to polish, and they were polished and debugged in the early weeks, but it did affect sales volumes. Now, some people have taken this and run with it and be like, oh yeah, Star Wars doing badly. Have you seen the recent resurgence of Star Wars? Battlefront 2 is exploding. Yes. That's this year. Last year, just to remind you where we were, because I pulled it up because I wanted to make sure. Do you guys remember The Acolyte? Do you remember The Acolyte? I'm sorry if you do. But The Acolyte premiered on June 4th of 2024. The other 6 episodes after the first 2 were released through July 16th. So the finale of The Acolyte was in late or mid-July. And then over the next week or two, people were going after The Acolyte, saying it was the worst thing that Disney had released in Star Wars. They were ruining Star Wars. It notably was not renewed. Viewership was plummeting, and, people were not thrilled by it. Because what my friend who's really into Star Wars said was they pissed on the lore. And I'm not familiar enough with Star Wars lore to know if that's true or not. But I've heard a lot of people mention something in that same spirit. So I think that it's probably fair to say. But that happened in mid-July of 2024, okay? When did Star Wars Outlaws launch? It launched about a month and a half later in August, at the end of August 2024. They also did their whole kit and caboodle with their early access, with the pre-order bonuses, with everything. They did it very, very standardly. So most of the coverage of the game was kicking off in mid to late August, just within like 4 weeks of the Acolyte debacle. And so I do think, I know some people have been memeing on Ubisoft for all of this, being like, no, Star Wars is bigger than it's been in a long time. Yes, this year. Last year, people were saying Star Wars was dead. Like, I remember seeing many videos of people claiming that did quite well. Okay. So Star Wars was in a rough spot when the game launched, without a doubt. I would agree with that. Is that the sole reason the game flopped? No, I don't think so. I think it also just was not ready for prime time, frankly. It was pretty buggy. It had some bizarre design decisions. And what you need to understand about this whole thing is Ubisoft massive. They make the Division games. That's what they do. And they seemingly are pretty good at it because those games make Ubisoft a lot of money, apparently. But they were assigned Star Wars Outlaws and Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. And they had to put those games out within a year of each other. Originally, Avatar was supposed to release like a year prior to that. Like, I think the original plan was late 2023 was the plan. But that, of course, slipped. So they had to now put these games out within 12 months of each other. And this is not the kind of game that they typically make. I mean, they are not a studio that makes open world adventure games. Like, they make these always online, interconnected, shared multiplayer experiences, third person shooters. And that's what they do. And they're pretty good at it. But they don't make games like this. They just don't. And it kind of showed, frankly. It just kind of showed. And there were a lot of design decisions that just didn't make sense. Like, for example, you see the speeder bike that Kay is using? It's a cool idea, of course. Give players a speeder bike, let them ride around this big planet that you made. Obviously, no duh. Great idea. But they would have a bunch of other little systems and features that weren't, like, didn't flow very well. They didn't have like free shooting combat on the biker. Like you can't just free aim and shoot. You had to use a pre-aimed thing. And so that was weird. They had other things like the combat and the gun juggling system worked very similar to Uncharted 2 or Uncharted 3, where if a rifle drops on the ground, you had to go pick it up and then you could use it until it runs out of ammo and then you drop the rifle. Okay, it's kind of arcadey, but whatever. But if you hopped onto the bike, Kay would drop the gun every single time. Like she couldn't carry it with her. If she went down a ladder, she would drop the gun before going on the ladder, which always felt insane. You're like, oh my God, we're being chased by stormtroopers. Oh God. Set the rifle down. Oh, I have to go down 6 feet of ladder. Oh man, I wish I had my gun, but I can't get it. I remember trying to like glitch the game into like dropping the gun off the ledge and then going down the ladder to pick it up off of that. It was just weird. Like, and those were active choices that they made for some reason to not let you carry the guns from room to room to room. It was just odd. And there were a lot of things like that. The biggest problem, in my opinion, I see some of you guys echoing it as well, was the AI. Frankly, the AI was pretty dumb. It just was. Like, it just was dumb. Like, we've all seen the highlight reels. I showed you guys the clip in my review where there were a bunch of like raiders coming to a farm. And the farm, like, you go and you're just supposed to defend the farmers from the raiders that are coming up. And so I just stood in one spot, didn't move, and then speeder bike. They come up, they park, they hop off, you shoot them dead, they die. Another speeder bike parks right next to them, hops off, shoots, die. Next one comes up, like zero awareness of what was going on around them, because they're like, oh, my buddy just got killed in front of me. Let me park next to him and hop off very slow. And it just happened until the mission was over. And it was like a solid 3 minutes of that. It was really, really bad. And it's too bad because I do still think there's a lot of fun to be had in Star Wars Outlaws. I think if you like Star Wars games, you actually probably will really like this. There are some clever things that they do in here. Like, for example, they have the in-game, like, card game Sabacc, which is like a Star Wars card game, or they have in-game like racing where you can bet on races for these like alien horses, right? And they have systems in place so like as you walk around the environment, you can hear NPCs talking to each other, and if you pay attention, sometimes they will let loose information. Hey, just so you know, blah 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 is gonna throw the race tonight. Yeah, he's gonna throw every race that he's in. Oh, really? Oh, cool. And so you then go and you use that information to bet against that horse, alien horse thing, and you can win lots of money on it. Or like other little bitty systems where somebody might mention a drop of some cargo that's really valuable and they're going to go pick it up later. And it's tucked away in the corner of a cliff to the west of the big city. And so you go and you find the cargo stash and you get a bunch of loot. There's a bunch of clever little ideas like that in the game. You wouldn't know that because the rest of the game was like really, really rushed. And so you didn't even have time to appreciate little bitty things like that. They also had, of course, things like seamless planet surface to space exploration. So if you wanted to just go from planet surface into space and then go get in a dogfight in space, you could do that. You know, Starfield could never, but you could do it in this game. And it's too bad because, again, I think that there's a lot of fun ideas here. It was just rushed. And what was funny at the time is that Yves Guillemot, our friendly neighborhood French elf, he even said at the time, typically we iron out these small frictions. I remember small frictions because it was such a weird way of saying it, but small frictions. And he's like, we iron them out after launch, and that usually has worked well for us. Like, we launch the game, and what he's effectively saying is that we typically launch our games with some issues, and then we fix them after launch. And normally that's fine. But what he pointed out at the launch of Star Wars Outlaws was that didn't work this time. Players were not okay with the little frictions. They were quite upset by them and said, okay, I'm just not going to buy it. And that did crazy damage to the financial performance of Star Wars Outlaws. And that actually caused them to kind of reflect on their overall approach to these games, because notably they delayed AC Shadows out of the entire year. They pushed it to the following year to improve it. They changed a lot of their policies, delaying everything in their lineup. Now it looks like even the Black Flag remake was significantly delayed as a result of Star Wars Outlaws being kind of rushed and not doing well. They delayed that. They delayed pretty much everything else in their roster back to get more polish time. So funnily enough, like it actually seems like Star Wars Outlaws might have actually long-term done a lot more good, because it caused Ubisoft to be like, oh, people want finished games. Oh, oops. And to their credit, Star Wars or AC Shadows, very polished. Very polished. Initially, it wasn't looking like it was going to run on the Steam Deck. They got it running on the Steam Deck because they were given more time to polish. Like a bunch of little bitty things like that, quality of life improvements that are impactful. And my hope is that it means moving forward, they actually learn from the mistake long term. But to be fair, this is not the first time they've done this. If you remember Ghost Recon, was it Breakpoint? I think it was Ghost Recon Breakpoint. It's like 2019. Yeah. This game, as you can see, has a 56 on Metacritic. And the reason it did was because it was horribly broken when it launched. Like it was just super, super rushed. It was bad. It was just bad. It was nowhere near ready. And when this happened, it also caused a bit of a scandal at the time. And Ubisoft came out and they said, hey, we're listening to you. We're not going to do this. We're going to give more polish time. We're going to work on this moving forward. We're not going to make these mistakes again. But with Ubisoft, you just give it 5 years and then they repeat the same mistakes all over again. Like, this is just how they do it. Okay. So I'm sure that they're going to like delay the Black Flag remake. They're going to delay AC Hexe, and they're going to delay some of this other stuff. And then in 5 years, we'll be right back to where we were to like last year. It's just that's just how it goes. It's just repeat the cycle. So unfortunately, it's a very common thing. But it does look like they're actually trying to avoid that aspect of AC of Star Wars Outlaws issues. As it goes on, these comments are particularly interesting because just last year, Ubisoft blamed players' expectations, stating that the current challenges in the market and gamers expecting extraordinary experiences, simply delivering solid quality is no longer enough. Yeah, I mean, as in the words of Yves Guillemot, doing things the way they had been doing them wasn't working anymore because players, I think, were getting more picky, which is what happens when you raise the prices. It's what happens when you bundle in all of these extra paid components and you're monetizing the crap out of them. Before players decide to put their money up, they want to make sure their money is going to be well spent. And so if they see a product that has rough edges, they're just not going to buy it. And here's the other piece that is like the omnipresent elephant in the room for Ubisoft. And I've even spoken to like marketing people at Ubisoft who have mentioned this as well. They're like, yeah, we know it's a problem, but it's way above our pay grade. Everybody knows that Ubisoft games go like 50, 60% off within like 6 months of launching. Like everybody knows it. You wait 3 months, you wait 6 months, you wait 9 months, you're going to get Star Wars Outlaws for 50% off. You're going to get AC Shadows for 50% off. So if you can just wait, you can get a massive discount on these games and probably get it for a good bit less than it might be even worth. You know, like Star Wars Outlaws, solid game. Is it worth 70 at launch? At launch, definitely not. I don't think. But, you know, now that it's been fixed up and stuff, if you can get that game for like 30, 40, 50, that's a good deal on that game. There's a lot of fun to be had in there. And everybody knows that you can get it there if you just wait like 3 months, 6 months. Like eventually it just goes on sale. Which, you know, like I said, Ubisoft people know that that's a problem, but for whatever reason, executives are insistent on moving units. And I think what it is that all of Ubisoft's games, I should say most of Ubisoft's games, have some sort of long-term monetization component. Like you think AC Shadows, they'll sell you skins, they'll sell you cosmetics and all sorts of stuff. Even games like AC Origins, Odyssey, they have it too from years ago. And so if they can just get you in, the odds, even if you only have a 1% chance or a 2% chance of spending extra money on the cosmetic shop, If they can get 100 people in, hey, that's 2 people buying skins at $15 a pop. Like, we're starting to recoup some of it. And the math is pretty clear. When somebody's willing to spend money on one cosmetic, they're willing to spend money on 15. Like, usually if you're the type of gamer who pays money for skins, you buy a lot of them. You're not just buying one, you know? That's typically what happens, which is why games like, you know, a Fortnite or Call of Duty, they do gangbuster numbers because people are willing to spend money on those skins. So, you know, I think that's part of it. Is they just sell it at a discount to get you in, and then, you know, you have a sliver of chance of spending $1 bajillion on cosmetics. He further explained, quote, "We did heavily improve the game by troubleshooting and debugging, as I said in those early weeks, and when it is released on upcoming consoles, such as the Switch 2, it will have a new version. The improvements to the game are not finished, but we will continue improving it." So they're still working on it, allegedly. I also saw some people clip this bit and say, "And when it is released on upcoming consoles, such as the Switch 2, it will have a new version." And people took that as confirmation that new consoles are coming, and people were trying to say the PlayStation 6 is inbound. I don't think that's what, I mean, we're talking about a live translation, like from French to English, and, you know, maybe the translator said something in plural when he meant it in singular. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring it to next gen consoles when those eventually show up, or maybe he's just talking about the Switch 2 and the Xbox Ally Rogue Series X Ally X, whatever. I don't know, but I wouldn't read too much into that. Even though the franchise's inconsistency remains a valid concern, Star Wars Outlaws was far from a polished release. The game was filled with bugs, had poor animation, lacked overall refinement. MP First's review of Star Wars Outlaws gave it a 6.5 out of 10. If I could sum up Star Wars Outlaws is it would basically be a massive fetch quest that looks pretty and manages to capture feeling and look of Star Wars, but is ultimately hindered by its repetitiveness, bare bones gameplay, and lack of polishing. I think the polish issues were significant. The gameplay systems, like I said, a lot of those design decisions were just bizarre for like basic things like speeder bike combat, like the AI being so brain dead that it just kind of removed the fun out of a lot of it. So without a doubt, those are major issues. They've made a lot of improvements. I haven't gone back recently to try it. I did try it after the first big wave of updates and improvements they added. At that time, I still thought it had a little ways to go, but who knows? Maybe now it's significantly better. Maybe we need to go back and try it again. I don't know. But either way, I think he's right about why Star Wars Outlaws flopped. It was not polished. I think that's a major component of it. It had a few items that still needed to be polished. It was a lot of items and a couple of big items, like AI in a game that features a lot of stealth. That's a big problem. If it's bad, that's a huge component. It's like a COD game having bad gunplay. Like it just doesn't work. If you get that wrong, it doesn't work. Even if you have other cool ideas and cool things going on, it just doesn't work. And then I do think that the reputation of the brand did hinder it. Star Wars was getting blasted in online media across the board in like mid to late 2024. So it's not a surprise to me that it struggled. I do think if they were to launch it like a month ago, 2 months ago, it probably would have ridden that wave of Star Wars hype a little bit more, because Battlefront 2 was doing really, really well. So I do think that was a component. But I think the core issue, the main issue, was just that Star Wars Outlaws was, I think it was rushed. It was not ready, needed more time and love, and it was being put together by a team that had never really made a game like this before and didn't seem that crazy passionate about it at the same time. So I think that's a big component of it. So end of segment there, but now I want to transition into the other piece of this. Okay. Let's do this. New mini segment. So if you're not aware, Ubisoft, they're the ones that kind of kickstarted the whole stop killing games thing, which is a little funny when you look at it in the context of what we're going to talk about today. Because what happened was, of course, as described here in this PC Gamer article that you can see here. Let's see. So Stop Killing Games advocates for increased regulations to prevent game developers and publishers from shutting down games after official support for them ends. At Ubisoft's annual shareholder meeting, the question was posed in the context of Ubisoft's online racer, The Crew, the shutdown of which became the catalyst for the Stop Killing Games initiative. As you can see here, going back in April of 2024, and it basically was a response to The Crew being shut down completely, rendering the 10-year-old racing game unplayable due to, it said, server infrastructure and licensing constraints. And that kind of kickstarted this whole movement. So at this general shareholders meeting, which if you don't know, this is basically just where executives go sit in like a room in front of a bunch of investors and some employees, and they answer questions about it. Yves Guillemot, the CEO of Ubisoft, the man himself, he sat up there and answered some of these questions. And one of the questions he was asked was about Stop Killing Games, which is a little funny. It's why I do, honestly, they did a pretty good job with this investor shareholder meeting. The investors, I mean, like they did not pull punches. They came out kind of swinging. Like one person at one point started like kind of low-key yelling at Yves Guillemot over the like the share price plummeting over the last decade or so, which was a little funny. But I would just play you the audio of him answering this. But again, he's French and he's being live translated.
Now, again, the company was not found liable for any of the claims that were taken against the company for misconduct.
Oh, that sounds like a fun section to discuss. But as you can tell, it's kind of dry. The dialogue is dry. The performance is dry. So we'll rely on some snippets. They were asked about, some of the allegations of misconduct, which is what he's answering there, which is a subject for a whole other video as well. But as you can see here, he was asked about Stop Killing Games. As noted by GameFile, Guillemot was asked whether he supported the petition, whether players own a Ubisoft game when they purchase it, and how Ubisoft plans to ensure its games remain playable after support is discontinued. Dude, the balls to ask like the CEO of Ubisoft to just be like, hey, so when I buy your product, do I actually own it? Or do you side with like your employee who was saying gamers might need to get comfortable with not owning anything? Like, what do you think of that? I respect the hell out of these people that just got right up in there and asked the questions. However awkward it may be, they just got in there and asked the question. You got to respect it. Guillemot initially responded by defending the amount of support Ubisoft provides for its games at present. Regarding the petition, I would do it in a French accent, but that would be distasteful. We operate in a market, which is true. We're on a planet. And when we release a game, we provide a lot of support for that game. We also provide a lot of services to make sure the game is accessible and remains playable 24/7. Guillemot also stated that players and buyers are forewarned when a Ubisoft game is going to be shut down, and that The Crew, specifically Ubisoft, offered its successor, The Crew 2, on sale for €1 for a fortnight to provide the original, or prior to the original game's shuttering. For just €1, they got to buy the next version. €1. It's not a lot of money to be able to continue playing a game. I mean, you're creating a problem, then you're selling them the solution. I mean, if you gave it away for free, that'd be fine. I could be okay with that. One thing that makes me wonder about it, so with The Crew specifically, if you don't know the Crew, let me see. So in The Crew, there's like a crap ton. Oh my God, the ads on this website are painful. In The Crew, there's like a crap ton of course, name brand vehicles, okay? Whether you're talking about like Ferrari or Porsche or Jeep or Lamborghini or whatever. And as a result of this, there are licensing deals that take place. And I remember when this first went down back in April of last year, we talked about this a good amount, because what Ubisoft basically pointed the finger to for a lot of the Crew stuff being shut down was because their licensing agreements with some of these car companies were expiring. So they couldn't continue to sell the game, which is, I mean, that's an issue of the negotiations to begin with. Like, I don't think you should negotiate licensing deals that have an end date for a product you're selling to somebody. It's a similar thing that actually happened with Mafia 3. If you don't know, Mafia 3, when it launched, had a bunch of like Southern music from that time, even though it was a fictionalized version of New Orleans. They had actual historical music, such as old Elvis music. And when I think it was 5 years hit, I think it was 2021, their licensing deal for that music expired. And so they updated Mafia 3 and they removed all the Elvis music. It was quite depressing because at one time, Mafia 3 had one of the best soundtracks ever. You could just drive around in that game, even though it's bland as hell. You could just drive around listening to Elvis on the radio. It was goated, man. It was really cool. But because of how they negotiated the licensing deal, they lost the music and had to cut it out. That seems insane to me. I don't think you should negotiate deals. Like, if you can't have the music in the game forever, just don't put the music in the game. Like, I just don't like the idea that you're putting something in a game and you're like, yeah, so you bought the game, but you lose this after a little while. Like, that just is so dumb to me. It's insane. And it's a similar thing with The Crew and with these other games that use licensed vehicles. It seems that there was some negotiation, if they're telling the truth, which this does kind of make sense to me, that they probably did negotiate a deal. Hey, you can use the Aventador for 10 years in your game, and then no more. You don't get to sell the game anymore. That's probably honestly what happened. And then Ubisoft just didn't see it as a big deal. So like, yeah, we'll just shut down the game at that point and get everybody to buy the second game for more money. Like, makes sense how they could think that way. And I think what happened was they did that. And the reason why, I'm guessing they still had to sell it for $1 or €1. A lot of contracts like this, as we've talked about them on stream and stuff, they tend to have some verbiage of like maybe the brand, like Lamborghini or Porsche, has some agreement that you can't give away their product and can't give away their car because that might make it feel like it's cheap and not luxury or something. So they can't give away the game that contains the cars for free. They have to sell it for something. That might be why. Otherwise, I'm like, just give away The Crew 2 and get people to spend money on microtransactions there. But if they're selling it, I'm guessing it's probably some sort of contract loophole or something. But anyway, it's not really important. The important point is that they sold gamers a game, and they say it's because of licensing deals that expired that made it so they had to remove the game from existence. Which feels bad, man. Feels bad. Thank you guys for the super chats, by the way. I'll read those in just a minute. But he continues on. Okay. I'm not sure Guimon's conflation of The Crew 2 as a sequel and a continuation of the original game's service is justified here, since the two are separate games. I think, again, if they set it up this way, where they always from the beginning had the idea that when the licensing deals expire, we shut down The Crew and we move everybody to The Crew 2, which has a fresh set of licensing deals for another decade. And then we'll do the same thing when The Crew 3 comes around. And that's just their idea. They're treating it like it's just the same product. It's the same platform, but the licensing deals separate it. I'm guessing that's what they're doing. But I mean, I agree. It's not just a hand wave away. Okay, no, it's fine. Just have The Crew 2. It's like, no, I bought The Crew. I want The Crew. You don't get to just take it away. And I understand before some people get in here and they're like, well, Luke, technically that's how the EULA works and that's how it's worked in the games industry is you're buying a license. I agree that's how it's worked historically. That doesn't mean I have to like it, you know? I agree that's how it works. I don't have to support it or like it or say it's cool. Like, I want it to be different. That's my perspective. Is it possible for a game to be both, as demonstrated by Valve when it overwrote Counter-Strike Global Offensive with Counter-Strike 2, but that was a direct replacement handed out for free, while you can still play CSGO by reverting to an older build and playing on community servers? Moreover, if the point of Ubisoft's sale was indeed to allow players of The Crew to jump ship, or indeed car, then this doesn't appear to have been made clear by Ubisoft at the time. Anyway, Guimond then points out that, quote, all video game publishers are faced with the issue of changing or ending services. You provide a service, but nothing is written in stone. And at some point, the service may be discontinued. Nothing is eternal. And we are doing our best to make sure that things go well for players and buyers, because obviously support for all games cannot last forever. And I think this is the thing. This is the conflation that happens whenever we talk about this thing. Is it's like, you wouldn't expect them to support the game forever. No, what's being asked most of the time is for like some alternative to be offered. Whether that is private servers, whether it's peer-to-peer stuff, whether it's community servers that they host and pay for, just something. I pointed to the example of a game I played like crazy back in the day, which was Stronghold Crusader. Stronghold Crusader allows you to just do peer-to-peer stuff. Just have like a LAN party and just play that way. They don't have to support that game. That game came out in like what, 2001 or something, 2002? Like, just do that. Just do that. Like, give us the option to play it. I understand. Well, what about the security concerns of playing peer-to-peer? Yeah, it's always a concern. It's also a risk when you Google something and click on a link. Yeah, but you're an adult. You'll figure it out. You'll be okay. I think it really, when you start to see people kind of creating straw men to attack, and it's like, oh, so you want Ubisoft to support the game forever. No, that's not what I said. I said we want an option so the thing I bought doesn't just disappear. I want there to be some possible way for me to play the thing I bought. I understand it may not be the same like in its heyday, like you buy or you play a shooter and there's a ton of players online when you first buy it, but later in its lifespan the player numbers drop, so it's harder to find matches. That's just a reality of reality. I mean, that's of course going to happen. But I do think that there's something to be said for so that is an element, but I think it's really disingenuous when people take what you're saying and then try to twist it into something you're not saying to then attack it, because that's just building a straw man so that you can beat it down easier. What's being asked for with the Stop Killing Games movement is for some way of the product you purchase still being functional. We understand that it's unreasonable for you to support a game perpetually, which is why that's not what's being asked for, or demanded or requested, however you want to phrase it. And when somebody like intentionally misrepresents it, I just think it's really disingenuous. Like, they know what they're doing. They know what they're like. Say what you will about Yves Guillemot. Say what you will about him. This is not a dumb man. Like, you don't build a company from nothing into a multi-billion-dollar corporation spanning the globe unless you're fairly sharp. Okay? I don't know about his kids. I don't know about his nephews or nieces or cousins or whatever that are also in executive leadership positions. But I do think if you build a company from nothing into a multi-billion-dollar international conglomerate, you probably know what you're doing. You're probably a pretty sharp dude. So I don't believe for a second that he like, oh, they want us to support games forever. I don't think so. I don't think that's what, I don't think he actually believes that's what the movement is saying. I think he's trying to defend where he's at. Because I'm sure a licensing deal to keep Lamborghinis in the crew forever instead of just a hard-gated date cutoff, I'm sure that's way more expensive and cuts into the bottom line, and that's not ideal. So he'd rather negotiate a deal that has a set expiration date and just do that, you know? Just do that. Nah, he failed upwards. For him, what's interesting, I don't know if you know this. I mentioned this on stream once, and people thought it was funny. So Yves Guillemot, the Guillemot family, actually, they are... Let's see. Here it is. They are kind of a powerhouse in the games industry. And funnily enough, the Guillemot family, the brothers, have founded multiple different companies over the years. And, this company, Gameloft? Gameloft was founded in 1999 by Michel Guillemot, one of the 5 founders of Ubisoft. What? Yeah. Yves' brother, who I'm sure is a nice guy, a little scary looking, Little scary look. I'm just gonna be real. Very nice guy, I'm sure. I'm sure he's a very nice guy. I feel like once you're a multi-billionaire, I get to comment on your looks. I feel like that's fair. That's fair game. If I'm ever a multi-billionaire, I feel like you guys get to make fun of whatever you want about me. You know, it's fair. Yeah, but he he started Gameloft and blew that up into a massive company. So it's just the Gameloft family. They were able to build out multiple multi-billion-dollar game companies out of France through like the late 90s into the 2000s. And yeah, they were just a powerhouse family, I guess. Let's see. Okay, well, let's finish this out. It's worth noting here, Stop Killing Games does not demand unceasing support for games by publishers. In its website FAQ, Stop Killing Games states, quote, "It is in favor of publishers ending support for a game whenever they choose. What we are asking for is they implement an end-of-life plan to modify or patch the game so they can run it on customer systems with no further support from the company being necessary." Yes. And I understand the game may not be the same as it was unsupported versus supported. Before anybody's like, it's going to be different. Yes, I understand. What we're saying is like, before you shut off World of Warcraft in 20 years, if it somehow ever dies, like before you shut off World of Warcraft, allow for private servers. Like, put that in. I understand it won't be as maybe massive and cool and crazy as the public ones that you have now, but just something, you know? Just something. That's what's being asked. And again, whenever somebody, like, you're making a very clear, simple statement like that, something that is in the FAQ, that in, you know, 2 sentences clearly explains what is being asked for, but then you still have people intentionally misrepresenting it to attack that straw man. That's when they're being disingenuous, you know. That's what I'm saying. Caleb, thank you for the 5. Let's see, to finish this out. In fairness to Ubisoft, it has claimed that such safeguards will be put in place for The Crew 2, which Guimond likewise pointed to in his response. Quote, "We also announced that the game would be available offline in the future so that players could continue to play it. So this is an issue that we've been dealing with," which, yes, in case you were not aware, they did say that they want to put in offline modes for The Crew 2 so that, you know, this issue doesn't happen again. So they are taking steps to deal with it. It's apparently too late for The Crew 1, but they apparently already have like testing happening for this offline mode, and they hope to have it out by the end of this year. So I hope that is the new standard. I hope that is what they're doing and that they actually are going to stick to it. That's the hope. But yes, that is their plan, according to their public statements. Guimond concludes by reiterating the point about services having a shelf life. Quote, "The lifespan of a piece of software, whenever there is a service component, eventually services may be discontinued because eventually the software may become obsolete over time. A lot of the tools become obsolete after 10 or 15 years down the line. They're no longer available. And that is why we release a new version. So we have version 2 and version 3, but clearly this is a far-reaching issue and we are working on it." Yeah, I think the industry is just changing. And it's why I think, you know, something like Stop Killing Games is just good because it starts the conversation. You're getting like investors at a shareholder meeting asking the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company these questions about it. And it started as a little petition online. And the whole point of the petition is to get the conversation started and start things happening. And now you're getting the CEO directly responding to it. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of those petitions, is to get things moving. And so what started as just people signing a piece of paper, digital paper, I guess, is now leading to direct confrontations and discussions within shareholder meetings. Like, that's the point. That's how we know this is working. So it's good to see. It's good to see. And already, I mean, like I said, they claim to be adding offline modes to The Crew 2 and to some of their other products. And so the hope is that this has impact not just for Ubisoft, but for other companies as well. You know, that's the hope. That's the hope. Yeah. Sorry, Thor. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. Let me see. Let me catch up on these real quick. Before we get too distracted. Let's see. Metro Games, I mentioned that one. Breadman, thank you for that. $10. Again, that was very generous. About 50 games to play before you die or the sun blows up. Ryan, thank you for the 3 months again. Yes, KCD2's got to be on that list. Immortal Fish. The Immortal Fish is here. I know you're talking about Star Wars Outlaw or Star Wars. I think you meant Outlaws, but you typed Star Wars Outballs, which I think would have been a very funny name. But have you heard of an actual good game called Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon? Picked it up a few days ago and ended up liking it a lot. IndieCare. Yes. I actually have the statue right back there. I think it's just out of. Well, you can kind of see it. It's just dark. I need to get more of these like lights for the bookshelf, but yeah, it's back there. It's just really dark, so you can't really see it. But yes, I do have that. Yes. Very good. If you like old school Elder Scrolls games and you like that kind of clunky AA vibe, it's got that in spades, man. It really does. I need to finish it and like put a lot more time into it. We just got kind of distracted. Just a lot of other stuff started pouring out, you know. A lot of other stuff. Trash Panda Colt, thank you for the sub, my friend. Thank you. Glad to have you. Thank you. Let's see. Where am I? Roberto, thank you for that one. Hey, Luke, I just saw some stories saying that Sony and Rockstar are aiming to have GTA 6 run at 60 frames on PS5 Pro. Might be worth looking into. Yeah, so it started from a guy, Detective Seeds, on X. And honestly, like, my general approach is that the bigger the claim, the more intense and comprehensive the evidence needs to be before I believe the claim. So if you are going to make a massive claim, I need to see like significant evidence to back it up. Because basically I'm trying to find it. What was claimed What was claimed was GTA 6 has been and continues to hit 60 FPS while being optimized for the PS5 Pro, multiple graphics settings. PlayStation engineers are assisting with optimization due to the new tech being implemented and rolled out with the current target date of May 26. They're also assisting several other Rockstar titles that are rolling out in the near future, pre-PS5 Pro 2026 update. As of right now, 60 FPS is being achieved on the PS5 Pro only. This could obviously change before release. It is anticipated that GTA 6 will have multiple graphic options on PS5 Pro. The marketing deal is what's allowing and encouraging the collaboration on optimization. Should see several PS and GTA 6 bundles in the next marketing push. This info is from a PlayStation engineer who's provided highly accurate info and verified info several times in the past. And here's the deal. Like, this is a huge claim, especially because most other like graphics engineering YouTubers or people that cover just, you know, engine stuff, whether it's Digital Foundry or whoever, they have outlined how GTA 6 almost certainly will be CPU bound and restricted, and that's not something that can just be like easily cranked up with a more powerful set of hardware. Rockstar games are historically CPU bound, which just means like the GPU, which is what's significantly better on the PS5 Pro over the PS5, like that helps you get high resolution and like brute force your way through some problems. But with GTA 6 and with Red Dead 2, these are games that historically have struggled with CPU limitations because there's a lot of simulation going on in the background. There's a lot of physics calculations in the background and things that have to be done. So it's kind of complicated. You know, it's not as simple as just you turn the dials and it runs twice as well. So it's not impossible, but the fact we've not heard any corroboration from other notable leakers is why I've not taken and run with it or anything. It's a big claim, but ultimately, you know, it's just, I don't see the evidence rising to the point where I would believe it, especially because there's a lot of things pointing, I think, in the other direction, which is that people think people who are way smarter than me are saying that it would be very, very, very difficult to get this running at 60 frames on the Pro if it can't run close to that on the base console, because the CPUs are very close to each other, you know? So, it's something to keep an eye on. Like if we start hearing other leaks come out and other discussions that are suggesting it may actually be true, and other reporters are saying, hey, I'm getting word that PlayStation engineers are achieving 60 frames on it as well. Oh, I heard that too. If we start hearing that, then I'm interested, you know? But at this point, Detective Seeds is relatively new to the game as far as I'm aware. You know, did some reporting and discussion over the Oblivion remake, for example. But it's not like Jason Schreier is reporting this. Like Jason Schreier has been around for 20 years or whatever it's been. And if he came out and said this, I'd be like, oh, okay. So it's basically locked in because he has that reputation and that respect, I guess, maybe within the industry. But until we see more, I think backing this up and corroborating it, I wouldn't put much weight into it. You know, I just wouldn't. Because again, the big thing is it's not a graphics limitation. It's a like simulation limitation. It is a CPU limitation. And so if the PS5 Pro were able to hit 60, I would think that the base PS5 could probably do like 40, 45 frames at a really low resolution, and they just unlock it or something. Because again, like right now, the CPU is what's limiting it. It's not the GPU. That's what people way smarter than me have said. So I'm going to go with that until there is overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Are you underestimating Rockstar's wizardry? Maybe. We'll see in May. But I also really think if they were able to hit 60, don't you think they would be putting out trailers at 60? And just put a big old PS5 Pro only on it? Like, if they could get that thing running at 60, why would they not advertise it at 60? I do think some people are being a little dramatic with the 30 FPS discussion. Like I've seen some people say, oh no, if it's only at 30 frames, I can't play it. I'm not going to touch it. If it were a first person shooter, I'm with you. 30 FPS on first person games makes me super nauseous. But a third person like adventure game like a GTA, I don't personally struggle with nausea with that. Like it doesn't, like I just don't see that. Maybe some people are more sensitive to it than others, but I don't know. I've seen some people that I would consider to be very dramatic with it. Like if it comes out at 30 FPS, it's downright unplayable. I'm like, well, you know, just a few years ago, we all played Red Dead 2 at 30 FPS and it was totally fine. We all played GTA 5 at 30 FPS and it was totally fine. Like, is it ideal? No. But it will still be playable. Like, come on. Let's stop being silly. Speaking of Red Dead 2, though. I kind of want to see this. One of you guys shared this. This was shared by news of it. Shared by 53 Nights on the Discord. 53 Nights shared this. What is it? If Red Dead 2 were made by other developers.
Hey, you're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right? Rode straight into that Pinkerton patrol, same as us.
I'm already impressed by the effort. They actually went in.
Hey, you're finally awake.
For a second, I thought the stream was going down.
Rode straight into that Pinkerton patrol, same
It was pretty good. Fade to black, yep.
You there. Step forward. Who are you?
Yep. Todd Simhauser Johnson.
You picked a bad time to come home to Skyrim, kinsman. I'm sorry. At least you'll die here, in your homeland. Follow the captain, prisoner.
Wow. Dude, this is so like on the nose. Oh yeah, you gotta eat everything. Naturally. Get all the coffee. Oh, one thing I will say. Criticism of Red Dead, I will stand by till the day I die. The inventory system sucks ass. It's just so slow and clunky. Oh my god. Dude, it's like so on the nose, it's like a little traumatizing. Because I'm like, Red Dead 2 is amazing, but imagine if it was like this. Like those little quality of life changes, they make a difference, dude.
Your money or your life. You're smarter than you look.
Oh, then you pickpocket it back out. Yep, naturally.
Take it. It's worthless to me anyway.
Dude, that's pretty good. Okay, now we got to see Made by EA, okay? Because I don't want to go through the whole thing. I just want to give you a taste so you go watch the video yourself, okay? Okay? If Red Dead 2 was made by EA, let's see. Are there going to be glowing purple gems and then like commercial breaks?
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Dude, that was well done. Your friends, dude, this is so well done. It's like upsetting. It's crazy. Even down to like the home screen. Wow. Okay, session pass only now $19, camp bonus 20, AK-47 only 30, 20 gold bars 15, buy your car for 100, ultimate outlaw set. Dude, somebody needs to hire this guy. Get your first gun. The immediate pop-up for the battle pass for $20. Buy the season pass, yeah, it's exclusive. Oh my god. Only 70 for FC25. Dude. Oh my god. Oh, yep. Buy the loot boxes. Weapon loot boxes, free, wood, silver, or gold. Dude, this is like actually traumatizing. Because what's messed up is that this isn't that unrealistic. Like I could totally see them doing something like this. And again, it's what's so baffling that these companies seemingly just don't get, or the executives don't get, is that this actively harms the experience. Like this actively makes the game worse. If you're playing a game that's otherwise really cool and it's filled with this garbage, it makes the game worse. Like a great example is freaking Middle-earth: Shadow of War. Great game, really cool evolution of the Nemesis system and all that, but it was so filled with loot boxes that it was just a disaster. I mean, they had to walk all of it back eventually because it ruined the end game. Because it does have an impact. It does. Go to the stable, buy your first horse. Is it also going to be a horse loot box? It's gonna be like a stable box. Oh, dude, the floating X. Okay, I'm officially triggered. I'm officially triggered. That's pretty. That's oh wow. The battle pass again. Just in case you're wondering, it's still available. You can still buy it, just so you know. The stamina pack for $10. Oh my god. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, now Ubisoft. We all know where this is going. Okay, we all know where this is going. Made by Ubisoft. If Red Dead 2 was made by Ubisoft, let's get a taste of this. Let's see it. Inspired by historical events.
Welcome to Red Dead Redemption 2, developed by Ubisoft. You are at the start menu.
What is it about Ubisoft games where the menu reader is on the first time, like every time? It's funny because I think they're the only company that has that happen like every single time. But yeah, that's very much a Ubisoft thing. The benefits of the Red Dead 2 pass, dude, they even got the UI elements. It's so good. It's so well done.
You are selecting play. You are selecting discovery tour. You are selecting store. You have selected the special offer for the KA-74 weapon. You clicked on the KA-74 offer. Item description. The KA-74 is not just a weapon. It's a manifesto of freedom. Some may say, an AK-47 in the Wild West. That makes no sense. But we don't believe in barriers, temporal or cultural. If a cowboy can have a horse that never tires, why not wield a modern masterpiece of military engineering, even if it defies history? Weapons are timeless.
Yeah, to be fair, it's cool that they have that supported in the game for accessibility reasons. I get it. I'm just wondering why every other studio doesn't just have it on by default. Like, I think you can turn it on by default in some consoles. Like, I think the Xbox lets you, like, enable certain accessibility options by default. Same with the PlayStation. Just do that. Just do that. Then if you need it on, it's on by default. But for everybody else, it's not on, you know?
Orderless and free. Ready for any gunslinger, no matter their origin. The KA-74 is...
Okay.
You have returned to the main menu. You selected Arthur Morgan. You selected Sadie Adler. You have selected Sadie Adler as your playable character. Now you're on the screen to select your pronouns. Select your pronoun. He, him, she, her, they, them, zis, em, zir. You selected the pronoun he, him. You confirmed the pronoun he, him. Now select your character's voice. Choose between male or female. You selected the male voice.
You've made a big mistake!
You selected the female voice.
Yeah, good for you.
You chose the male voice. You can't change it later. Do you really want to disable the narrator voice? Are you sure about this choice? You will regret it later. Okay then.
You will regret it later. Dude. Oh, yeah. The crazy UI. Dude, this is traumatizing. It's like actually traumatizing. Dude, the floating white orb on her.
They're getting hungry, Mr. Morgan. Who is? The people you haven't fed. Me? When did that become my job? Others are pulling their weight. Ah, give it a rest, will you?
Dude. Oh, it's so good. Dude, the excessive tutorial thing for EA and Ubisoft is so accurate. It's like ridiculous. Oh, and then the always on screen ride prompts. Oh my god. The second you pull the trigger. Oh my god. Okay. Wow. Yeah, this is a little on the nose. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. I'm going to share the link in both chats for you to watch the whole thing yourself. Go give this guy a sub because this is amazing. It's so good. And the amazing like UI stuff, all of that's so well done. Go subscribe to that guy. That's so good. It's so freaking good. Oh my God. I cannot believe how good, like, just the little UI elements are. It's so good. Okay. Let's do this. I have to go quickly give refill Romeo's water real quick because it's a hot day outside. He's in the backyard rocking and rolling. So I'll just be on a BRB screen. Give me like 2 minutes. I'm just going to go fill up his water bowl and then I'll be back down. I'll just play some music for you. And then we'll go through the next thing, okay? I just want to make sure Puppy has his water. I'll be right back. Give me just a second.
I drove my rusty pickup to the local game store door. Starfield gleamed upon the shelf, couldn't wait no more. Todd Howard spun his stories of galaxies afar, but when I fired up that game, I didn't get too far. Oh, Todd, you sold me stardust, but gave me empty skies. Promised me the universe with all your alibis. I fell for all your stories, like I always do. Starfield left me wishing for a game that's true. They boasted endless planets, each one unique and new. But after planet number 3, I'd seen a deja vu. The critics didn't love it, gave it mediocre scores. Just another space misfire echoed across the boards. Oh, Todd, you sold me stardust, but gave me empty skies. Promised me the universe with all your alibis. I fell for all your stories, like I always do. Starfield left me wishing for a game that's true. I searched for epic battles, but the AI wouldn't fight. Characters were wooden, and the dialogue was trite. Todd promised me the cosmos, but left me in the dust. Now I'm trading in this game, it's betrayed my trust. Oh, Todd, you weaved a fable of worlds beyond compare, but all I got were glitches and load screens everywhere. Still somehow I'm considering when the next game's not, 'cause hope's a stubborn thing, and I'll give it one more try. Oh, Todd, you sold me stardust, but gave me empty skies. Promised me the universe with all your alibis. I fell for all your stories, like I'll always do. Starfield left me wishing for a game that's true. Oh, Todd, you sold me stardust, but gave me empty skies. Promised me the universe with all your alibis. I fell for all your stories, like I always do. Starfield left me wishing for a game that's true. In this world of screens and noise, a letter comes, it brings me joy.
Oh yeah, I'm back. Sorry, the whole song went through. I don't know what this other song is that's playing. That's my bad. Sorry, I'm back. Okay. We're rocking and rolling. Miss Romeo is good. He's good. I should have taken a picture of him up there. But I do have on our members only Discord, we do have a page that is just pet appreciation, where you can see a bunch of the pets from the community. This was me trying to take Romeo on a walk the other night. He was very upset that I was taking a picture of him, so he lunged at me and he was like, "What do you think you're doing?" He just turned straight at me. Dude's already over 40 pounds and he's 4 months old. 4 months old, 40 pounds. He's gonna be a big dude. Gonna be a big boy. Gonna be a big old puppy dog. I'll tell you what. Big old puppy dog. But it's gonna be good. He's got the droopy face. Yeah, he got the droopy face. He's just a good fella. He's a good fella. Okay. We have a couple more things to do that were shared by some of you guys that I want to get through. 10 pounds a month. Yeah, dude, straight up. 100 pounds in 10 months. Yeah, he's putting on about 2.5-ish pounds a week. I mean, it felt ridiculous because we got him and I got him this like XL size dog kennel cage thing for him to be able to sleep in, because we're doing the whole crate training thing. And it showed up and this thing is like laughably huge. Like I could probably sleep comfortably in that thing. Like it's huge. But it's because we had to get one that he will fit in a year when he's way, way, way bigger. And already he's getting big, dude. Like he's getting huge. He's a big fella. Let me catch up on these real quick. Roberto, thank you for that one. Hey, Luke, I just saw some stories. Oh, I read that one. Thank you for that one. That was the one about the GTA 6 thing. Alex, thank you for the 5. Hey, Luke, do you have any faith in Mass Effect 5? Is BioWare done if it fails? Dude, I think a lot of us thought that BioWare would be done if Dragon Age failed, and then it failed, and they're still here. So I honestly, at this point, I'm done making predictions or guesstimating with them because they somehow never die. I don't know. It's bizarre. Typically, if you make one flop, your studio's probably screwed. If you make 2, you're definitely screwed. But if you make 3, there's no doubt you're screwed. But they put out Mass Effect Andromeda, which flopped cataclysmically. Maybe like not as bad as some of the other games we've talked about, like a Concord, but still did not do particularly well, was really damaging. Then they did Anthem. That also catastrophically flopped. And then they did Dragon Age, which the reporting now is pretty clear that it was not good. So you have, and like now there's only 80 something people at the studio. Like the whole thing was decimated. So yeah, at this point I'm kind of surprised they're still here. But at this point, reputation shouldn't be a factor. Well, yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't think you can look at BioWare and be like, well, they're BioWare, so it's probably going to be really good. Like, you should go into it treating it just like any other new studio, because that's basically what it is. I mean, it's basically what it is. I think Andromeda did okay, but it didn't reach expectations. Yeah, I think it wasn't quite on the level of like Mafia 3. Mafia 3 was reviewed terribly, but still sold like 4 or 5 million copies in the first month. You know, it still did quite well. I think the exact number was 4.5 million units in the first month, which is wild for a game that was reviewed really poorly. So Mafia 3 seemingly still made money, despite being received so poorly. But I think Andromeda wasn't quite on that level. Yeah, that like 2016, 17, 18 era, there were some games that were put out that were pretty broken and buggy, but they still sold really well. People still bought them. Nowadays, that doesn't happen. That does not happen. Caleb, thank you again for the 5. Thank you for that. Blake, thank you for the 5. Was there a Ubisoft Forward event this year? Did I miss it? No, there was not. There was not. Funnily enough, like the whole LA scene at Summer Games Fest and everything was markedly quieter. Because what typically happens, this is a little inside info, Ubisoft, they tend to be the company that like invites the most creators to their show, to their previews and stuff. A lot of other companies tend to be very like restrictive, very, very short lists. Like Capcom, they'll only invite a few dozen people. Like it's much harder to get into a Capcom event. Where Ubisoft, they'll bring all these people together, all these people from all over the world in. They'll fly people in from the UK, from France, from Sweden, from Japan. Like they'll fly in people from all over the world to come and see their games and do the previews and go to the event. And when they're not there, when they're not at Summer Games Fest or doing their own show, you notice it. A lot of those people didn't show up. Like Summer Games Fest was a good bit emptier this year, it felt like, than last year. And I think it's because Ubisoft wasn't flying a bunch of people out, or at least like inviting a ton of people. But yeah, they didn't do anything. I think next year they'll do something pretty big, because they should have Assassin's Creed Hexe next year to show, which I think will be quite interesting. Yeah, we'll just have to see. Yeah. Have I been on Chronos event? I don't know what that means, so I'm guessing no. Gamescom happening in August. Well, it's Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show where things are expected to kind of happen. I think Ubisoft said they're going to be at Tokyo Game Show. I'm not sure if they've confirmed about Gamescom, but they've said they're going to be there. You know, so we'll see. Hex is supposed to be linear, which I'm excited for. Yeah, dude, I'm excited for it too. I think of any of the things that they have mentioned working on, I think that is pretty likely to do well. I mean, I think that thing could do well. I think it's what a lot of people are looking for, especially if it's really polished. Nathan, thank you for the 5. Hey, Luke, love the streams. Just started Expedition 33. I've never played a turn-based game, but the story intrigues me. Puppy needs more camera time. Yeah, dude, I've got, like, we're doing the doggy training. We're doing all of that stuff. My goal is, once he's better about not having accidents inside, my goal is to be able to bring him down and he can, like, hang out with us on stream. But right now, I mean, he's a puppy, so he just wants to chew, and he wants to bite, and he wants to wrestle. And so he's not currently at the age or temperament where he would just come down and hang out and then, like, let me know when he needs to go potty or something. He's just not in that mindset. Right now, he's like, if he's down here, he is clawing at everything, jumping on everything, trying to play. Like, he's just high energy. But we will eventually get there. It's just, he's a puppy, you know? So he's a little ball of energy right now, but he'll eventually get there and we can bring him down and he can hang out with us. You know, he's getting there. Let's talk about this one real quick. This was shared by Kay on our members only Discord. A while ago, Luke asked folks to send in video ideas to react to, and I thought this might fit the bill since Luke has reacted to Bellular before. World of Warcraft is one of the biggest MMOs, if not the biggest MMO in the world, but apparently if you're a brand new player, it's virtually impossible to complete the leveling experience because the gear scaling is totally broken. Good thing Blizzard doesn't sell level boosts or anything, right? And this intrigued me because I have actually tried playing World of Warcraft from scratch because I have some friends from college that play it a lot and have some high level characters and stuff. So I was like, ooh, I could get into it and play with them, but I'm going to have to start at zero. I'm going to have to start from scratch. So this is right up my alley. Let's see what's happening. This, of course, is from Bellular Warcraft's dedicated channel. 3 weeks ago, I played WoW on a fresh account. It was hell.
This is Milk Genius. He's a Tauren mage. He was
Genius.
born to suffer. Except things did not quite go to plan. You see, his suffering actually started much earlier than we intended. So let me explain this whole thing. Milk Genius is the first character on a fresh account. Matt and our team is going to use him for some upcoming challenge runs of the game. But, well, challenge actually found him first. That's because just getting to level 80 was an absolute nightmare. Let me tell you, we were shocked to find out how bad WoW really is for new players. It is literally unplayable in ways that we did not expect, and I am not joking.
I mean, I feel a little vindicated because when I started it and tried playing it, like, you can't play WoW and tell people that you didn't have fun, you know? Like, you can't do that. Otherwise, people would be like, you don't like WoW? How dare, like, you're an idiot. But dude, when I was trying to play it to get into it for my buddy so we could play together, I was shocked at how unapproachable it was. Like, I had the benefit of having somebody, you know, with me that was trying to explain it and make it make sense. But it was also just like, the deeper into it you got, the more you felt like, am I just doing the mindless grinding just so I can catch up to the cool stuff? Like, I don't know. It was very, very difficult. So this is going to be interesting to hear. I'm excited to to hear the details.
Milk Genius had a normal time at first, pleasant even. Lots of people told him to do things like incinerate living creatures around the Dragon Isles, and he did so with a smile. His barrier was impenetrable, he blew up enemies in a few casts at most. Then something changed. As he leveled and mastered new spells, he actually got weaker. Pyroblast felt like tepid air blast. He might have done more damage blowing kisses than throwing fireballs. It felt ridiculous. And then enemies chunked him with every swing. And before poor Milk Genius knew what was happening, he found himself needing everything in his arsenal to survive. Burst, Time Warp, Ice Block, all just to take on the local wildlife. The same wildlife, the very same wildlife that he had just been exploding with a simple glance just a few hours before. Now, of course, as an experienced WoW player, you're probably familiar with slowing down as you level, but I promise you, you have not seen anything this bad. We have not seen anything this bad because we just hadn't done this in a while. And by now, it really is different. And this all made leveling a living nightmare. WoW felt like less of a well-designed video game. Fighting one mob without combustion was pointless. Pulling two at the same time meant certain death. It took every mage spell in the book to kill named NPCs, and usually in a few tries. This was not fun. It was
It was not fun. Dude, this is why I think we all know where this is going, because Blizzard does have some fixes and does have solutions to this. So we all know where it's going and what this is going to turn out to be. But it's also just it's kind of, I guess, expected when you have a game that's as old and storied and complex as WoW is. I'm sure it's a nightmare to balance anything like this. I mean, it's got to be a disaster, but if it's just like a simple algorithmic leveling thing where it's just about, based on basic multipliers and stuff to health, damage output, damage intake, that type of thing, you'd think it would be something that they could adjust, unless they don't want to.
Somewhere between a pointless slog and just being insanely frustrating. And this is in the hands of a good player, someone with many years of experience. What do you think would happen?
Yeah, not hours of experience, years of experience.
To a new player who would die trying to 1v1 a regular mob, say a boar. They would probably quit the game. It's just hard to imagine anyone bothering with this. Even if they survived, getting weaker over time is kind of the opposite of what an RPG should be. There's essentially, in my view, no way they would stick with it. Not unless they had a whole bunch of friends boosting them and getting them towards the endgame. And the sad news for Milk Genius is it actually got worse before it got better. Hours of struggling later, he finally reached Orgrimmar. He'd done the non-combat quests where he could. Now they called him to set the newest continent ablaze. Yes, he was being called to Kaz Algar. Without a well-timed save from a hunter who just happened to be there, he actually would, well, maybe still be dying from that Nerubian lord you've got to fight in Dalaran in the intro. Over and over and over again, because it was actually just that bad as a fight. And remember, you need to beat that boss to finish the scenario, and that means that as a new player, there is no way to continue. It was genuinely impossible alone, and that's because Milk Genius was a victim. He was a victim of scaling and how it's essentially broken for the game as it is being played by new players right now.
Real question though. I mean, there's people like me who might try to get into it for the first time because we want to get in with our friends, or because, we're looking for just a new social game, quote unquote new, and I would have played WoW back in the day, but I grew up in a household when I was younger that called WoW, the work of Satan. So it wasn't really something we would have played, or been allowed to play, however much we would have wanted to. But there's people like me out there that I feel like are kind of a niche example, but I can't imagine there's that many people who are trying to get into WoW for the first time. Are there really that many people trying WoW for the first time? The game is huge, but WoW is one of those institutions. It's such a big established thing at this point that it feels like everybody who wants to play WoW is playing WoW, And so there's not much like mystery left. It's not like people are just being like, whoa, what's this new game? I wonder, it's an MMO, it's a dying gem. I mean, I would love to know the stats and like player numbers, player growth. I would just be fascinated to see how that's doing now. I'm playing right now, says Captain Dammit. Yeah, see, you're in it. I tried very briefly, got horribly confused and quit again, says C4 Ghost. WoW is not a new gen friendly graphics nor gameplay. I do think that that's a bit of a turnoff for some people. This is going to be triggering to some, but I do think that the average like teenager, preteen, if they are looking for a game to get in with their friends, they're going into like Roblox and stuff. They're playing Fortnite and Roblox. I don't think they're jumping into WoW, even though they might have more fun with WoW long term. Like, yeah, it looks like a game from 2005. Exactly. Like, and it is still at the end of the day. I'm just put off by the subscription. Dude, when they bought Activision Blizzard King, when Microsoft did, a lot of people thought that they were going to remove the subscription fee. It was going to be part of Game Pass, or they were going to bundle, do like Game Pass WoW. And it was a specific version of Game Pass that gave you access to WoW or something. And they were going to cut the regular subscription. I don't know. At this point, it's such a huge thing for the people that play it. It's just part of their monthly budget, like, it's hardcore. Dylan says, dude, I'm still playing Pirates of the Caribbean online. That's goated. That's hardcore. I respect it.
And the sad thing for Milk Genius is there was just about nothing he could do about it. So, how did we get into this mess? How did this happen?
Just make enough gold, you never pay for a subscription. I guess that's true. Yeah, if you can just grind it out. But realistically, don't like BS me, because I genuinely don't know. How much do you have to grind to get enough gold to pay for the subscription? Like, how many hours are we talking about? Are we talking like, oh, it's 10 hours of play to pay for your subscription? Or is it like you need 150? Like, what are we talking about? Because if it's like, oh, you got to just casually put in like 150 hours a month or 200 hours a month to pay for your subscription, 40 hours a week, Jesus. I hope that's not true. Yeah, I mean, unless you're doing things like boosting other players. Okay. But either way, like, you're putting in so much time into WoW, it's basically a part-time job in order to pay for it itself. Like, just maybe 20 hours if you follow a guide. Okay, 20 hours in a month to pay for the subscription itself. I don't know, man. This is so crazy to me. It's so crazy.
Let's break it all down then. Our actual problem here was gear. On the Isle of Dorn, the quest reward from the impossible intro quest really did prove that. And that's because the same slot went from plus 40 stamina to plus 1295. It's quite a lot more. It's an extra 25k HP. It's a 16% increase from just one item. That's out of 14 slots. And this was not just health either. This slot went from 20 int to 441, plus 3% crit and 1% haste.
Jesus.
That was all from one single hat. Okay, what actually happened here? Well, Milk Genius had actually out-leveled so fast that he drastically outgrew his gear, and it was nigh on impossible to keep him with a set of gear that actually fit his level. Most of his equipment was so bad that he may as well have been naked, which is a sad state of affairs for poor Milk Genius. And of course, that's on a fresh account, without the warband buff that gives you up to like 25% more XP. And of course, this was a fresh account. That means no heirlooms. Basically, this is the stock experience where there are really no pointers or explainers. And that means that leveling is just too fast for how Blizzard's game actually awards people gear.
It is a little funny because it's like, hey, the leveling is all screwed up. And the problem is that you level too fast, so you can't get equipment and armor that keeps up with you. It's just a very interesting reversal. Because my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, I need the WoW experts in chat to correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding of what he's saying is that the enemies damage, health stats, like all of that stuff is calculated based off of what your level is. But your gear is what actually buffs you and gives you like the increased health and the increased damage output, intelligence, whatever it is. And so if your level is high, but your gear is low, it's actually worse than just having a low level with your low gear. Because if you had the low level, the enemies wouldn't scale to you. You got it? Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's very interesting. I love this kind of like the nitty-gritty nuance of how the systems work. It's very interesting to me.
Why? Well, campaign quests are designed with a specific curve in mind. You'd get a few pieces in every zone as you would level up. Then you would hit max with a full quest set of gear. Some pieces would be a few item levels lower. That's for a fairly obvious reason. You would maybe get one piece of gear at level 64 instead of at level 69, but that's not really a big deal. Job done, you've hit max level. And that's what happens because Dragonflight, and of course later on War Within, have got their continents designed for a 10 leveling span, not a 60 or 70 leveling span. That's why this breaks. Players drop into Dragonflight at level 10. They then finish the campaign somewhere in the 40s, and that's when they essentially run out of easy gear, which leads to this situation. This poor soul was still wearing gear from his 30s and 40s. He wasn't level 50, he wasn't level 55, no, he was in his 60s. And this is not like WoW Classic. You see, in Classic, wearing a 15 green was fine for like 20 levels. Gear scaling is absolutely nuts now, and that's the key difference between now and Classic. Every slot was hundreds of item levels below where it should have been. Thousands of stats behind. And you may say, just go get some gear, bro, that's the problem. Easy. Well, Milk Genius wishes it was easy.
Yeah, don't you think Milk Genius would have done that if he could? Damn it, man. Think. Of course he would try to do that. It's very common to get to a certain level, like 80, but you still have level 50, a level 50 ring. It was one of the things that was interesting about... crap. I'm blanking on the name. I can't believe I'm blanking on the name. The ARPG that launched last year. That like blew up. Big Diablo 4 competitor. Path of Exile 2. I remembered it before chat saved me. I remembered it. Officially. I did it. All by myself. Thank you guys. Yeah, PoE 2, like that scaling I felt was really, really smooth. But I mean, again, fast forward the game 20 years and things may change.
Some side quests drop gear. The odd world quests do as well. But even if you understand that system, which again, if you're a new player, you probably won't, there's no reliable way to replace garbage. As an example, when I say garbage, say, imagine that plus 10 strength belt that you picked up at level 25. Now, if you're thinking, just buy bind on equipped gear then, well, we thought about that as well. BOEs below level 80 are unbelievably expensive. Many of you probably know why. It's because the only people buying them are giga-rich transmog hunters who want to fill out their set. And that's an economic context that poor Milk Genius and, of course, every new player to the game won't exactly be in.
Yeah, fair point. It's like, it's why also, I remember in college, I had a professor that had done a bunch of work like analyzing World of Warcraft accounts because there were a bunch of articles being written at the time about it. Like, because World of Warcraft's economy is crazy complicated. Like it's fascinating. Like there's entire PhD students whose like theses have been on elements of the World of Warcraft economy. It's crazy complex and nuanced and very, very cool. But yeah, it's always been interesting to me as well.
You see, with today's leveling speeds, you'll only have a few thousand gold by the time you hit this problem. And if you're in the know, you won't really want to spend that. As an example, just think about how expensive enchants and crafting are up at max level. That means that spending any money in gear before level 80 is a huge mistake. But hang on a second. You may be wondering why you don't have that problem. Why you are not like the poor victim of today's video, Milk Genius, and the legions, the probably hundreds of thousands of potential new players that are bouncing off World of Warcraft every month. You and Milk Genius ain't the same. You'll have heirlooms. Those heirlooms will scale with level. And even if you don't, you can queue for every single dungeon with Chromie time. Or perhaps you'll only be leveling your characters during time walking weeks, where you can just spam dungeons with shorter queues and get loads of gear. That's not what a new player will be doing. What we're talking about today is a new player problem. Now, you can technically avoid it if you run dungeons. Scaling is a little different there, but hey, you will get some gear. but the DPS queue times for Dragonflight dungeons are prohibitively long, and you're trapped in the Dragon Isles until level 70 anyway. So, if you ask me, asking a new player to AFK in a queue is not much of a solution to this problem. And if you're not convinced this is a problem, let me put it this way. Blizzard putting WoW on sale like this is basically them trying to fill a bathtub. But what they, well, probably realize but have not yet acted on is that bathtub, well, you know, doesn't really have a plug in it. So all of those new players they chuck into World of Warcraft simply just drain away.
And that's my thing. I have World of Warcraft. Like I said, I've tried to get into it, but I bounced off. And I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one, because I don't have a bunch of heirlooms. I don't have a lot of experience with it. Like, played Classic when that first came out. We put some time into that, but I've tried to get into just the vanilla experience from scratch, and it's not super welcoming. I mean, it's also just a massive game, so it's kind of confusing as a new player, because you're like, am I bouncing off of it because I don't understand it, or is there some mechanical thing going on? And as he's explaining, it's more of a mechanical thing, but when you're a new player and you don't understand exactly how it's going wrong, it just feels like something's off, and you're like, maybe I'm stupid, maybe the game's breaking, I don't know. Either way, I'm not having that much fun, so I'm gonna go do something else. And then you lose the player. You know, either way, whatever the cause is, something's going wrong. Gilgamesh says, I bounced off as well. Me and my friend really tried. Yeah, you paid for it though. Well, yeah, but they get a chunk of change when you buy it, sure, but they get the biggest chunk of change when you are sticking with it for months or years and it becomes your habit. Like, that's where they make the real money. You know, $30, $20 here and there. Yeah, it's nice to get the chunk of change, sure, but they'd much rather keep you in the vortex, you know.
Okay, look, I've got to pull the handbrake and do a crazy power turn, but trust me, I'm actually going somewhere with this. It's relevant. The Final Fantasy XIV director wrote blogs early in the game's life, and he talked about something similar. There was a quest in A Realm Reborn. A few of you may know it. It asked you to get a full set of item level 5+ gear, and right beside that quest giver was an NPC vendor. That vendor sold the last item that you needed, a piece of leg armor, and the game explains all of this stuff to you. But here's what happened. Even with all of that, their stopping point data showed something different. The data showed this was the quest most quitting players stopped at. Which is kind of crazy, right? Such a simple barrier, yet it kind of destroyed their player signups. Now they ended up changing this. They changed it to be more clear. When they changed, it actually worked. More people stayed. You see, players don't like being confused. They don't like feeling confused. And in this case...
True. Well, it's also, there's, in social experience games, I don't know if this is a component of specifically what he's talking about, but when there's like a social component to it, it's also kind of a shame or an embarrassment where people are like, if I'm bouncing off this game, is it because I don't understand it? Is it because I'm stupid? Is it because I'm messing up? Or is it the game? Am I like, what's going on? And so instead of like risking feeling dumb or looking dumb by asking somebody, they just shut down and don't engage anymore, and they go play something else that they know, that they understand, you know. MMOs are usually overwhelming as hell too. Yeah, no, they're just so massive and there's so much. It's why like the fear with a lot of them is that if you don't get in at the beginning, you're missing out, and then by the time you might rejoin in a year, you're just so far behind everybody else. It's not worth it, you know.
It's new players who have not put hours into an MMO. They're gonna feel confused real easy. MMOs are overwhelming. They won't put up with the sorts of bullshit that you and I will put up with basically all the time. Hey, we're WoW players, we're used to it. But they won't put up with that. Now, I do not have access to Blizzard's stopping point data, but I can promise you this. They have tons of people who finish the Dragonflight campaign, they hit the wall that Milk Genius hit, and then they get confused. The campaign stops giving them gear. They find that they cannot kill mobs. They also can't find side quests. They get confused. They don't like feeling confused. They try to Google things about the game, but Google's a mess. WoW data is just spread across lots of different websites.
Well, and it's tough because a lot of the resources you'll find, and I encountered this, it's being written by people who really know what they're doing, who have been playing WoW for years and years and years, and are playing usually on really high level characters or very, aged and well-established accounts. So they're not writing articles on how to overcoming what, Milk Genius is experiencing, because they haven't experienced it. They don't know that that's a problem. So there's not really a guide to fix it. So, if you Googled this problem, you might just get an article that says, well, equip some heirlooms and you'll call it good. It's like, well, I can't really do that.
Ones that are useful, but often high cognitive load to use. So what happens is they simply quit. I think in doing these sales, Blizzard is pouring time and effort into finding water for the bucket, but they haven't perhaps realized or acted on the fact there's a giant hole in the bottom of that bucket. But I do have some good news. It's not all hopelessness, because our boy Milk Genius found a way out. You see, once Milk Genius put on that new bit of gear, the hat that I described that gave him thousands more stats, everything changed. His new hat made him so strong that he could kill 3 quest mobs at the same time when he popped all of his cooldowns. Not very impressive, but it was a massive difference. It was moving from playing the game feeling impossible to feeling technically possible. Now, questing was still extremely slow. Gear came in drips and drops, and some slots just felt impossible to replace. So eventually, Matt, who, by the way, was the man behind Milk Genius, he ended up just giving up. He was tired of pretending to be a new player. He wanted a way out. Now, someone suggested he log out for 2 whole months, and that in doing so, the gear update function of the game would appear and give him a starting set. That was, of course, not very appealing, so instead, he learned tailoring and he just went and made all of his own gear. And this worked by...
That's freaking clever, though. They're like, literally just go away for 2 months and come back, and the game will just give you something as a consolation prize, basically. That's funny. That's funny. Huh. Interesting.
Pure luck. Cloth drops came from mobs anyway, but say a plate wearer needing to go and mine ore, well, that is a whole different story. Anyway, over the next level or two, he was able to craft enough gear to catch up, to make Milk Genius strong. Turned out that Matt's game knowledge just got him back on track because he knew how to use the crafting system. That meant that now he could level up to 80 without having to pull individual mobs one at a time. And with that problem solved, he could start in the real task: suffering, playing at max level, which was the entire point of Milk Genius's existence. Now, part of all of this was actually fun, to be clear. Squeezing out every little bit of damage to kill mobs is kind of satisfying, and I'm not making this video to say that leveling should just be one-shotting mobs for 80 levels while you live in some sort of fugue state putting Doritos into your mouth. No. Players do need to learn how to play, and there's times where old Milk Genius was forced to learn how to play. But what Milk Genius went through is not what Blizzard intends. I mean, a few pieces of gear, doubling your health, doubling your damage, that is not healthy for the game. It's clearly not intended. I mean, we're in a situation where anyone who does not know exactly where gear comes from will actually struggle. And remember, we're talking about new players, who by definition do not know things. Now, if they don't
literally, I mean, yeah, you don't know what you don't know.
know how to use their full kit, say maxing out their cooldowns or choosing a specific talent build, well, then this game, World of Warcraft, is genuinely unplayable. And if World of Warcraft is genuinely unplayable for new players, it's maybe a little bit tricky for Blizzard to actually grow World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I mean, it's not lack of interest. There's multiple people in chat who are saying I've tried and I bounced off. I'm saying I've tried and I've bounced off. So clearly, like, there's people that want to get into World of Warcraft that would like to have that game to get into, but are bouncing off. And either way, like, that's a problem. Whether it's because of level scaling, there's not enough armor drops and equipment drops, or that, you know, maybe Blizzard's just trying to sell a solution. Whatever it is, either way, something's going wrong. You know. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. We'll yeah, the full links and everything I'll share. Yeah.
Blizzard had a solution for this, but the funny thing is they, actually just took it right out of the game. You see, the Winds of Mysterious Fortune event dropped bags with bonus gear, and that bonus gear scaled to your level. Basically, it operated just like bags from doing random dungeons, but now, of course, it's gone. And what the removal of this does is kind of screw over new players who basically bought the game in the recent sale. Because if they bought the game and maybe didn't hit level 80 in time, they could get completely slammed by the gear drought and them just not understanding where gear comes from, especially because when they signed up to the game, it came from the Winds of Mysterious Fortune event. Now, Blizzard could overhaul the scaling here. You know, simply lock systems designers in a room with spreadsheets and force them to fix it, to make the gear curve less sharp. But we all know that's probably a waste of time, that doing so would probably jeopardize the already delicate balance of the game, because every time Blizzard changes scaling, there are hosts of unintended consequences. So let's think about the simple way. And the simple way is to make sure players get more gear. Fairly easy. Basically, it's to bake those bonus gear bags in permanently for new players, or to do something that they actually did in the past. You see, in Mists of Pandaria, vendors sold full sets of leveling greens. You could actually just buy them to make sure you were ready. So if you add that, and then add a quest pointing players to that, then problem solved. If you want to be really lazy, well, just drop a full set of leveling gear on characters every 10 levels. Make it a quest reward. I think that would feel bad, but...
It's kind of what, like, Monster Hunter did. You remember when Monster Hunter World, or Monster Hunter Wild... No, it's Worlds. Too many W words. Monster Hunter World did Iceborne, and when Iceborne dropped, of course, they didn't know whether you were getting into the expansion for the first time, or if you were getting into it after grinding the end game like crazy. And so what they did is they had this like starter armor set that they basically handed to you that was something crazy, like 60 defense, like, you know, starter gear is like 1 defense and 1 attack. Like, it's very, very basic, but the starter set for the expansion was so crazy powerful. It made you automatically able to just jump in, and it brought everybody to a level playing field, even if you didn't grind out a ton of the early game. And funnily enough, I have a friend who bought the like complete edition of the game and got the end game like armor set, and then was thoroughly confused why he was trouncing all of the early game monsters and everything. it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. Yeah, the Guardian set, that's what it was called. Yeah. Yeah. Is it an expansion if it doesn't have cracked gear? Well, it's with that, it's, you know, the understanding I think for players is it's easy enough to grasp that this is for the end game thing, the expansion. This is not for you to grind against like the starter monsters, you know, the starter Anjanath. Like, that's just not what you're gonna do. It's not what you're gonna do. So I think that is bad gear. The DLC monster is gonna whip people who use that gear. Well, it's not really a gear that you're supposed to use through the whole expansion. It's like, you use this if you don't have anything else and you just want to play with your friends in the expansion and just jump right into it. But yeah, definitely you're going to be crafting different stuff. But yeah, there are solutions to this issue that it sounds like they've already made over the last 20 years. They just have to repackage it and give it to new players to just be able to get some new armor drops and equipment drops more regularly.
You know what? If Blizzard are having players abandon the game in droves, even though it's solving a nuanced problem with a humongous sledgehammer, at least the problem would be solved, and we would not have the player attrition that I'm fairly sure we have with new accounts. Now, at any rate, we know that a longer term, that a bigger systemic solution is actually coming here. Holly Longdale has talked about true change to the new player experience. That
I remember them talking about that. Was it like a year and a half ago when they did BlizzCon or something? They said, we're going to overhaul the new player onboarding experience, and we want to make it so new players can come in and get acclimated and onboard without, you know, the crazy amounts of confusion that can happen. So I remember them talking about doing this, but I guess they still haven't done it.
That cannot come soon enough. But if it is going to be a while, I think Blizzard should do something about gear acquisition. Because, like, look, we were honestly shocked by how horrible this was to play. I wonder if you're someone who hangs out in mentor chat, what your experience is like, seeing just the problems that new players have. At any rate, I would love to see the stop data to see basically what Yoshi P shared in that blog all those years ago about FF14. But of course,
I mean, I would hope that game directors and stuff at Blizzard are regularly going back and trying the game on vanilla accounts to see what it's like. You know, like, wouldn't you think that that would be normal, that you would just go in and be like, what's this like for a new player? Let's just go in and try it, especially for a game like this that is like scaling so heavily. But I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, this is what I want to touch on. Do they even care about this, about fixing the game? I mean, they think they genuinely want more players. They want more engagement. They want people to come in and stay in. Like, with games like this, they have a very, very committed player base, without a doubt. But more players is good. Like, you want more players to come in. And from a business perspective, that's also always good. If you can get more players, that's going to be good for the game. So they want to grow it. They don't want to let it just die slowly. But I think the other thing, like he mentioned, whenever you do major systemic changes to a game that is so ridiculously complex, you're going to break things. You might fix one issue, but you might make 5 more. And I think that's the fear, is that if they change some of the scaling stuff, you're going to fix one thing, but break 15 others. And it's going to be a disaster. You know, it's going to be just a total disaster if you are not careful. So I think, I think that there are solutions, but I will not pretend to know how crazy complicated it would be to pull off. I just posted in chats, both of them, the link to that Bellular video. You should definitely go and subscribe and everything, so that you get, you know, notified of all of that. You can get notified of all of his latest content. That's specifically his World of Warcraft account. So, you know, worth checking out there. Does a lot of great coverage, and always has really interesting insight into the industry. So go show him some love. Show him some love for sure. Yeah. Let's see. Robert of Garcia Jr., thank you for the sub with Prime, my friend. Thank you. Glad to have you. Wonderful. To be honest, leveling has been in pain ever since they introduced level scaling. Can we talk about Mind's Eye, please? What pray tell is there to even say? At this point, I think we're all just waiting for the relaunch, whatever that looks like. We'll see. We'll see. Let's touch on this real quick, because this is the other piece of the earnings call that we didn't touch on that's really, really interesting, because it's just a disaster. I wonder if I can still pull up the earnings call. Let's see. Okay, let me fill this in again real quick. United States. Boop. Okay. Okay. News timer. Okay. So we touched on this a little bit earlier in the stream, and I want to circle back to it because there's another tidbit that's interesting about this. Ubisoft just had their general meeting 2025, where they basically share the current state of the company. They answer questions from shareholders, investors, all of that. Some of these questions were very interesting, very confrontational. Some investors very upset on the current state of Ubisoft, and so they demanded answers from Yves Guillemot, the CEO of Ubisoft, as you would expect them to do. But one of the most interesting little pieces of this is some of his statements over microtransactions. Now, I would just play you the snippets from this thing, but it's a live translation from French into English.
Proceed to appoint the officers of this AGM, which I will chair in my capacity as chairman of the board.
And it's super quiet. It's super like monotone. It's tough to listen to. So PC Gamer transcribed it with the help of MP First and all of this, and it's quite interesting. Okay. As you can see with the title, Ubisoft defends microtransactions, claims they make games more fun. Do they, though? Do they? Interesting, bold statement. Ubisoft explained, quote, the adoption of monetization and engagement policies that respect the player experience and are sustainable in the long term. At Ubisoft, the golden rule when developing premium games is to allow players to enjoy the game in full without having to spend more. Okay, I agree, that's good. Give people the game if they buy it. Our monetization offer within premium games makes the player experience more fun by allowing them to personalize their avatars or progress more quickly. However, this is always optional. So here's the thing, okay? There's two components of this. For one, yes, it's funny to say that monetization makes games more fun because it's just kind of cringe, okay? It's just kind of cringe. It's just a stupid thing to say. I'm sorry, it just is. But to go specifically to what they're pointing to, which is cosmetics, optional cosmetics, and then also things like time boosters or XP boosters and things, map microtransactions, pay $5 to get told where all of the treasure chests are on a map or something. Those, I think, also have broad and sweeping implications as well, okay? Because as I've pointed out before, what is the incentive if you're trying to balance a game in a way where you get people to buy things? What happens is if the regular scaling would have been like this, you know, as you play the game, you level up. And maybe towards the end, it slows down a little bit, but this is what would normally happen. This is maybe level like 60, and this is for the end game. If we look at a game like AC Odyssey, this is kind of what I felt happened, was that this is what a normal game would be the black bar. What was AC Odyssey was kind of like this. So as you played the game, the scaling was quite slow. Slower than you felt it should have been. And so what you had to do was you had to grind out side quests to make up this gap. And the side quests would give you the XP to go and get to level 60 to continue on with the main story, right? But they sold you a solution. They just happened to have one available for $5. And that was the XP boost that in my testing back, I mean, again, at this point, we're talking 6-7 years ago. So I don't know if they adjusted it, but 6-7 years ago when the game came out and I was testing it with like spreadsheets and everything, my experience was the XP boost actually kept it much more like this, even at times going above what you would have expected. And you were over leveled for main story quest lines and stuff. So if you were willing to spend money, you didn't have to grind. Which I think is the opposite of that. And they banned the mods that added the quests that gave you good XP. Yeah. It's just, I think it's a natural thing that happens when you get money for a thing that boosts XP is that your game is going to turn into kind of a grindy game. Because then you're pushing people into spending money and generating revenue. It's just what's going to happen. And what basically that does is it turns those who paid the money, even if it's just $5, it turns them into the players who got the experience that would have been considered normal typically. The experience that's not grindy and slow, they got to just play the game at a decent pace and a decent leveling because they bought the XP that actually just adjusted the equation to what it normally would be. You know, so I think that's one thing with the like progress more quickly statement is they're talking about XP boosts and things like that, maps that tell you where hidden treasures are. And on the one hand, yeah, those are just kind of cringe. Like if you're buying those because you bought the video game for whatever, $70 or $20 on sale, whatever it is. It feels weird to me to pay extra to play less of the game, you know, like you're paying to skip stuff. And typically people don't want to skip something that they like. You know, the whole idea of an XP boost in a video game is just weird to me because it seems like a video game should be one of those experiences that you can just enjoy whether you are taking your time with it or you're progressing quickly. Like if you like the game, you like the game. You know, it feels weird to skip it. But beyond that, like they'll point to some examples. They're like, hey, some people don't have time to grind out for weeks and weeks and weeks XP to level up to get to the end of the game. I'm like, okay, but if the game is fun, they're probably having fun. So what's the rush? It's a single player game. Like, I don't understand what the rush is. Now, beyond this, they also point to, of course, personalization of avatars and cosmetics and things. The problem with this is that let me see if I can pull it up. Their cosmetics rarely have no gameplay effect. Like, typically they actually do have a gameplay effect, and they actually do have an impact. Like, this is a Joraptor video, of course, getting item for free, deluxe edition item showcase. Let me see if he shows like the stats and stuff. It's been a bit since I looked at the AC Shadows store, I'll tell you what. Oh, wait, back. Just a few frames, just a few. There it is. So this is with the key item. So this is in the exchange, but you can basically see, like, even these items, they're not just skins. They have a damage. They have a posture DPS, ability DPS. They have different abilities tied to them. They might have different engraving slots available to them. So if you spend more, it also skips out on gameplay, because it makes it so you don't have to go look for better equipment or better gear. And once again, it's like pay to progress faster, sure. But the other aspect of this is that it leads to situations where the coolest cosmetics and the most interesting cosmetics are getting cut from the game just to be sold back to you. So they have an incentive for the stuff in the base game to not be that remarkable or interesting, because they want to sell you those things on the back end for cash. You know, it's not as simple as just, oh, well, there's some skins that you can buy if you want to. Like, it's not as simple as that. It has broad sweeping impact on the experience for the people who are playing the game for free as well. You know, it's not just this thing in a vacuum. In my opinion, in my experience, it almost always spills over into the experience of the people who are just playing it without spending extra money on these aspects. Whether it's slowing down their progression so they feel an incentive to go and speed up the progression, or even if it's just taking out cool cosmetics that look cool to sell them back to you, or even locking away really powerful, useful weapons that have the best abilities and best aspects of them, just so they can sell them back to you as well. And so I just don't think it's maybe, who knows? I'm not somebody that spends, you know, the kind of money they're talking about. I don't spend a lot of money on microtransactions and cosmetics and stuff. I think the extent is like, I think I bought a skin for Bastion in Overwatch 2 however many years ago. It was like a Christmas, like, gingerbread house cookie skin that I thought was fun. So I think I bought that one for like $5 or $7 or something like that. I don't know. I'm not. Oh, I was playing Fortnite with my little brother. And he was bullying me because I didn't have a skin. He said, "You're not." It's like, if you play with, what did he call it? It was not vanilla skin. It was like a oh, I'm blanking on the term, but it was a term for like a starter default skin. Yeah. He's like, oh, you're going to play with that? He's like, if you play with that, my friends are going to make fun of you. I was like, noob skin. That was it, Mr. Mo. Noob skin. Yeah. He's like, you're going to play with a noob skin? My friends are going to make fun of you. So I was like, oh, okay. So I did buy a Fortnite skin of a princess fish. And so that's my Fortnite skin whenever I play with my little brother, so that I don't get made fun of by his friends if we play with them, which is kind of hilarious that I'm getting bullied and peer pressured by, you know, preteens, but whatever. Anyway, like, but my point is, I'm not the guy that's spending, you know, hundreds of dollars on skins and XP boosts and stuff. So maybe it does make it more fun for them. Maybe it does. I wouldn't know, but I do know that it does make it less fun typically for everybody else, you know. I think the vast majority of people are not spending money on XP boosts, on crazy, you know, pink sparkle unicorn skins for their horse. Like, that is a minority of a minority of a minority of people that are spending a lot of money on a bunch of different skins and cosmetics and stuff. And So yeah, I mean, it's another one of those statements from Yves Guillemot, the CEO of Ubisoft, that it's kind of it's just out of touch. And I don't think he understands how that's going to be perceived by the gaming public and the online gaming community, where it's like he's the one that said quadruple A, that mentioned that. I was told from a very reliable source that when Yves Guillemot mentioned the quadruple A game thing with regard to Skull and Bones, where he said, really, in many ways, it's our first quadruple A game. That was off script. He was not supposed to call it a quadruple A game. That was just him going off the dome, trying to improvise something he thought would be like impressive to shareholders and to gamers, to be like, ooh, Skull and Bones quadruple A, I'll have to go buy it. But, you know, it got him in a lot of trouble. We still meme about that. We still joke about it all the time because it's such a crazy thing to say about that game, especially, you know. But, you know, it's just, it's what happens when you have a multi-billionaire guy that's in charge of a game that's trying to appeal primarily to like 20-year-olds. And so there's that. Wasn't he talking about the budget though? Yeah, he specifically, I think, was trying to communicate that it was a massive, massive budget game, which it was, which was part of the problem. But it was, in terms of budget, probably a quadruple A game. The problem is when you say quadruple A, that also implies a certain level of quality. And that's typically what people think of when they think of like AA, AAA, quadruple A. They attach it to quality due to a higher budget. They don't start with budget and therefore it leads to quality. So when you say something's quadruple A, they expect quadruple A quality. And so when it was not that, they were, you know, the memes started. But all of this to say, you know, it's more Ubisoft being Ubisoft, I guess. It's not the most surprising thing. Unfortunately, can't say I'm surprised. But you know, it's just something I guess we've gotten used to at this point. It's like, oh, Yves Guillemot said something kind of stupid. Oh, well, yeah. It's just, oh, what are you gonna do? You know, that's just kind of what they do. Yeah, can't really say we're that surprised. What would a quadruple A game even look like? Realistically, Hannah, it's something like GTA 6. I think when somebody says quadruple A, that's what they have in their mind, is something on that crazy scale of production quality, on budget, on scope and scale. That's what I think they expect. They do not expect Skull and Bones. Okay, like Skull and Bones, not what they're thinking. Not what they're thinking. That ain't it, fam. That ain't it. Oh yeah, we could do this. This is kind of fun. You guys mentioned this. New segment, mini segment sort of thing. A bunch of you guys were asking in chat for me to check this out, so I'll pull it up. Quick clarification. Super urgent clarification before we watch this. This is not official. This is not from Bethesda. This is not from id Tech. This is a fan-made thing, okay? And that's what makes it all the crazier and all the more impressive, because this is more exciting more exciting than almost anything they've done with the Fallout franchise in the last decade, besides like the show, of course. But what am I talking about? Fallout Bakersfield, Doom Total Conversion. Oh. This is fan-made.
Thank you. Greetings to you all, ladies and gentlemen. For our first tune, I'd climb the highest mountain. I'd climb the highest mountain if I knew that when I climbed that mountain,
dude,
I knew that when I swept that river,
Oh my god. Yeah, buddy. Come on, man. Look at that. Like, this is what I mean when I say I think we need more like AA, even like single A greenlit projects in some of these IP. Like Warhammer's done a really good job of it. Look at this. Imagine if this were like this is so badass. Like this would just print money if it were officially like backed up. Jesus, dude. You approach a dark and broken city. I do love the like bottom left feed, like the old games. Bolt gun, that's what I was thinking of, yeah.
Harry think he beat your head now.
Dude. It's crazy impressive. It's crazy, crazy impressive. I know, right? Made by two guys. Alexander Red, 888 Guns, Berezin, and Dennis Berezin. Are they brothers? Dude. It's outrageously impressive. That's crazy. That's crazy. Total conversion mods are always so sick. The fact that it's such a small group of people working entirely for free just out of pure passion is so cool. You can see the love and attention to detail. Current day Bakersfield, by the way. These are the exact type of projects we need officially from the Fallout franchise, licensed out the brand to smaller teams who can do their own spin on the franchise whilst BGS work on their mainline entry. Fallout can literally translate into any genre. Well, here's the thing. Because some people are saying, well, you know, Bolt Gun wasn't that good, or Bolt Gun wasn't as good as the mainline stuff. That's true. I agree. It's not as good as like Space Marine 2, in my opinion. I prefer Space Marine 2. If I had to pick one of the two to play, I'd play Space Marine 2. But not every game in an IP has to be a masterpiece 10 out of 10. That's my perspective, is that we have this weird twisted mentality right now where everything either has to be a 10 out of 10 masterpiece or it's like cringe garbage, wait for a deep sale. And I think that that's just not what is healthy for the industry, for one. But I think it also means we're only going to ever get these massive bloated projects that are like on that crazy high AAA scale, that are ridiculously complex and expensive to make and have to appeal to the widest possible market in order to possibly even approach profitability. Like, I would like it if they started, let games be weird again. Let games get wacky and try weirder, smaller stuff. Like, I don't think everything has to be a massive AAA scale game, and not everything has to be that 10 out of 10 masterpiece. You know, games that are a little funky, a little weird, a little odd, that have some fresh perspectives and ideas, those are, I think, sorely needed. Lucas preaching heresy. Bolt Gun was amazing. I liked Bolt Gun. I liked it. I like Space Marine 2 more. Yeah.
Luke is preaching heresy. Bolt Gun was amazing.
I mean, can you say you're that surprised? Behind me, I have all my Warhammer stuff in the glass cases. I just moved it in this morning. But yeah, I mean, I play Thousand Suns. I've got Necrons, Orcs, some Eldari, and Chaos Demons. So, can you really be surprised? Can you really say you're surprised that I'm preaching heresy? Just saying. Xeno scum. Yeah. So anyway, I love this kind of thing. I would love to see more officially greenlit projects like this, but I mean, I'm glad to see that they're doing this. I pray to God nobody steps on their toes and like BGS doesn't do anything cringe like cease and desist or something like some other companies have done with their IP, but man, this looks so cool. I mean, it's just a clever, unique spin, and it's something, again, there's not many games or pitches where you see it and you immediately go, yes, yeah, I want to play that. There's not many games or things like that where you just see it and you're immediately into it. Expedition 33 weirdly was one of them where I remember we watched that show where they revealed it and immediately we were like, yep, that looks special, that looks really, really good. But sometimes that just happens where it just clicks. It just looks right. It looks good. It looks like something you haven't seen before and you want it. And that's where I'm at with this. This looks awesome, dude. Oh, and this?
Your head now.
Harry think he beat your head now.
Harry think he beat your head now.
Dude, it's just so good. It's so good. You see Harry, the super mutant. You see a couch, a very uncomfortable looking sitting device, sometimes known as a couch. Oh, I love it. This is a mod. I'm still mind blown. Yeah, dude. It's so cool. It's so cool. Oh, man. Xander, thank you for the 2. DK Bonanza, Goaty. Will you play it? I don't know. Probably eventually. My problem with Nintendo games is that I will typically like with the original Switch, I had this thing where I would take it on trips, like on a plane ride or something, and I would buy a game to play on the plane. Like I remember I bought Luigi's Mansion and I played it like for the 2-3 hour plane ride or whatever. And then I just never touch it again. You know, like, and I still am pissed. Let's just take a moment. Hold on. We just looked at something really cool. Can we take a moment to just appreciate how terrible this was? Dude, I don't know what I was thinking, but back when this first launched, when Switch 1 launched, June 2017. Dude, I bought this for full price and I'm still pissed about it.
Stylish lobby system keeps me coming back for more. Projectile-like punches, you'll just be
you remember
this?
this?
To your opponent. Rock'em Sock'em Robots, this is not. There's a great sense of give and take here. For every move you can make, there's an equal counter, and the delicate dance of trying to outsmart your competitors can lead to some tense moments. Because there are 10 different characters, each with their own innate abilities that combine with interchangeable arms that function as weapons, there's also plenty of room for experimentation and surprises.
I don't know, man. I'm still pissed about it. What did they give it? They gave it an 8. I'm still pissed about that thing, dude. I'm still mad about it. Maybe that's a question for all of you guys. What is a game you played or you bought at full price that you're still upset you bought at full price? I think for me, it's ARMS. What's another game I bought at full? Oh, Man of Medan. I'm still triggered by that one. Man of Medan, I'm upset I bought at full price. Because it was just so clunky and buggy and broken for me. And super short. It's just not it. Lawbreakers, Civ 7, Dragon's Dogma, Starfield. See a good number of Starfields. There's a good number of Starfields in there. Oh, that's funny. Mortal Kombat 1. Dude, did you ever see Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch? Sorry. Combat 1 Switch. Yeah, dude. So Mortal Kombat launched on the Switch, and it was such a disaster. I mean, it was horrible. The Switch port. It was like, this is what it looked like. And they don't have a refund system, you know? Like, you're screwed if you bought it.
But would in fact be coming out on the Switch. My first thought was, surely that means that it's going to be one of those cloud version only games like Resident Evil Village, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and so on. But I was wrong. Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch is a straight up port, running directly off of the Switch hardware. And yes,
you can
that
tell.
is as bad of an idea as it sounds.
Dude, I made a video and I tried it, and I remember the video bombed initially, but it ended up doing like 1 million views later. Like somehow it popped off eventually, but it was just so bad. It was like, yeah, that's the PS5 version. Dude, it was so bad. That one, totally justified in being upset about it if you bought that. Yep. Have I ever tried Necromancer Tale? I don't think so. Necromancer Tale. Oh, it's brand new. It's brand new. A story-rich gothic RPG, master the rituals of an ancient spell book, raise an undead army to march against your enemies, commune with the realm of the dead, and struggle with your descent into madness. Progress through secrecy, diplomacy, blackmail, coercion, seduction, and until you're ready to reveal yourself. Interesting. I like the sound of that. I'll tell you what. I like the sound of that. Huh. So no, I've not tried it, but that sounds good. I'm gonna keep this tab open. I think I'm gonna try that. That sounds really good. Consider me intrigued. Oh my goodness. But oh yeah, I guess going back to Xander asked this, and then Eric just has follow-up thoughts on DK. Very strong goatee chance. Where I think it was at 90. Here's the deal. Death Stranding 2 dropped down into the 80s. Death Stranding 2 dropped into the 80s. I didn't know that. I mean, it like literally doesn't matter, but Death Stranding 2 is now in the 80s. DK Bonanza is 91. Sorry, I got distracted by his hair. I wasn't prepared. I mean, I respect it. I think the afro needs to make a comeback. I'm just saying, needs to make a comeback. I miss it. Like, you see movies from the 70s, you're like, that's just awesome. You know, new age Bob Ross. How dare you? Yeah, I mean, is it a contender for game of the year? Yeah, I mean, right now, if I had to pick, I think I'd do Expedition 33, KCD 2, Expedition 33, KCD 2. There was another one in like March or April, wasn't there? Am I blanking on another one? I feel like I'm blanking on one that came after that. Split Fiction. Yes, thank you. Split Fiction. I can't believe I was like, there is one there that I'm blanking on. But yeah, Split Fiction. I think Death Stranding 2, I mean, I'll have to see once I finish it where I land on it, but I think that's definitely, you know, a strong contender up there. Blueprints, I've not played, but a lot of people love Blueprints and have eaten that up. So I think that's going to get nominated just based on the Metacritic, because you got to remember Blueprints, it's also up there. Yeah, it's at 92. It's technically a higher overall. Less reviews, but still, like, it's going to be in the conversation for sure. So I think right now we could see Death Stranding booped from the list in favor of Blueprints and DK. I'd be surprised if that happens, because I mean, Jeff runs it. Like, I mean, Jeff runs it. So like, what are the odds that he boots out on Death Stranding? Even though like, you know, I'd be surprised if Death Stranding 2 is not on there. But yeah, there's other contenders that are still coming down the hill. Like we've got, of course, Ghost of Yote, which I think very easily could slide up in there and get nominated and be in the contention for it. It might also land in like the high 80s, but not quite like on that level. Ghost of Tsushima, the original launch, so not the director's cut, the original launch landed at 83. So, I mean, Ghost of Yote could be like 87, 88, something like that, pretty comfortably. I think that could work. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it could also end up in the 90s. Who knows? Who knows? Betting an 80 for Yote, possibly. Yeah, Borderlands 4. Where did Borderlands 3 land? I don't even know. Borderlands. So Borderlands 2, 89, Tiny Tina, 3 was 81, Ultimate Edition is 77. I mean, I guess that probably makes sense. It's like 8 out of 10. It's probably where Borderlands 4 lands. I feel typically that's probably a safe bet. Either way, I mean, the takeaway from this is that it's going to be a stacked year. It's going to be one of those years where whoever wins it, I think it's fair. I'm personally, if I had to pick right now, based on what I've played, I think it still goes to Expedition 33. Bro, forgot KCD2. No, that's the second one I said. I said Expedition and KCD2. I think KCD2 is my number 2 right now. But Expedition 33 and KCD2 are like neck and neck. They're both so freaking good, dude. They're both so good. If it went to either one, I could see it. It's just like 2023. Well, dude, 2023 was a little bit different because 2023, it was basically Baldur's Gate and Tears of the Kingdom. And it was like one of those two is winning it. And it's like 2018 where it was God of War and Red Dead 2. You know, that was 2023 as well. Like, was anybody really expecting Starfield to win and beat out Tears of the Kingdom? Like, come on. So I think this year it's just different because there are, I think, going to be a solid like 4 or 5 games that could take it. And I think everybody would be like, yeah, fair. And I can't complain. Because that's kind of where I'm at. Like if Donkey Kong takes it, I'm like, yeah, fair. Or if KCD2 wins, I'm like, yeah, awesome, totally fair. Expedition, totally fair. If Ghost of Yote pops off, awesome, glad it won. Like it's gonna be one of those years where I don't think you can be like really upset. Last year when flippin' Astrobot won, it was just kind of like, well, what else is gonna win? You know, like it's good, but like what else is gonna take it? So this time around, I mean, I think it's gonna be a much different year. Much different. I'm here for it. Astrobot's so good. Yeah, it's very good. It's just you know, it wasn't as exciting. You know? Wasn't as exciting. No way Expedition 33 doesn't win. I think for sake of like the story of not just like the game's narrative, but I think the story of the developer being brand new, a small team in this crowded industry, like making this thing in the face of all these gigantic corporations. I think that story plays really well with a lot of the reviewers and stuff that are going to vote for it. So I think that will help it for sure. But I still have a sneaking suspicion that we're going to get some surprises by the end of this year. I think so. Crimson Desert. I think we might see a couple of surprises from some other studios that I won't say. But I think there might be some surprises. Silksong is tricky because I don't think like Phantom Liberty should be considered for Game of the Year. And I also don't think that like just DLCs and expansions in general should be, you know, put into that consideration. Because I just think it's like, I might love Shadow of the Air Tree. I might love Phantom Liberty and stuff, but Game of the Year is for the game of the year, like not the DLC. Isn't Silksong still classified as a DLC, or is it? If it's being marketed as a standalone, then I stand corrected, and then we're all in. Then like toss it in there. But if it's like an expansion, it's a sequel game, totally separate. Okay. I stand corrected. Don't come at me. It's a game. We actually had it on our list of things to dig into. Was a big deep dive into Silksong. So should have done that first. Now we're all pissed at you. Oh wait. While I have you here, what's something else I could do to do I have any more brain rot? While you're already upset. Hold on. No, that one's wholesome. Oh, I found an Elvis impersonator. I could show you this guy.
You look like an angel, walk like an angel, talk like an angel, but I got one. You the devil in disguise. Oh yeah, you are.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. The comments were funny too. I wanted to pull it up. Damn it. It won't let me. Yeah, so there you go. Little Elvis. Elvis, he lives. He's here. He's still here. Michael TTG, Hell Is Us. Yeah. Oh, Hell Is Us is also up there. Yep. That's one. Yeah, I think like this year is a little over halfway through, and we are, I think, still gonna get a good number of like pretty solid options. Like I think there's still gonna be a good number of them. Yeah. Arc Raiders, dude, I forgot about Arc Raiders. That could also pop off. We might still get Marathon this year. They said in the fall they'll announce their plans for release date and stuff. It's possible we still get Marathon this year. Can you imagine? Yeah, Crimson Desert. Exactly. We got a lot. Exactly. Yeah. If Hades 2 leaves early access this year, I think if it can leave early access, I could see that popping off and doing well. It's just, again, it's a great year, tons of really good stuff. And I think any one of them could take it and win. Oh yeah, there's the comments. Close enough. Welcome back, Elvis. Elvis Escobar Presley. Oh man. Yeah, dude, I get these deep cut TikToks. I'm not just watching anything. I've got the good stuff. Like I told you earlier in the stream, in case you missed it earlier in the stream, this guy, Believe in Yourself. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Partial arts? Dude. My FYP feels like an accomplishment at this point. This is why I pay for Wi-Fi. All the other signs, beware. Oh my God, I love it. Oh, I love it. It's all I need in my life. Oh. Dude, what's this? He's in a plane? What's this?
Fuck. Damn it. Oh, shit. Breaker 19.
Breaker 1-9. Ah, shit.
That's the whole thing. When you switch to Trevor in GTA. That's pretty accurate. Yeah. Mr. President, we're sending backup immediately. Gordon Ramsay, what are you doing? Oh my God. That's freaking hilarious. That's so funny. Oh yeah, you wish you had my FYP. You wish. You ain't never getting it. You get little tastes here and there. That's all you get. That's all you get. Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Let me double check, see if we have anything else we were running through. Ubisoft really carried the day. You guys remember, I mean, we get to these weird spots in the year where like there's not a whole lot going on, and so we're trying to figure out stuff to talk about. And you know what we're gonna cover and what we're gonna do. And you know, it's each stream is like, oh, we've got a few pieces to tackle. And then we hit the fall, and it's like every day there's some insane story. Like it's what happens. It's what happens. But here we are rocking and rolling. Shadow Gambit, the pirate game. Yes, I think we did, Mr. Mo. I think we did look that up. Gambit. Oh wait, no, this looks like a different one. I think this is a different one than we looked up on the last stream. But yeah, it's a pirate game. Assemble your crew and set sail on infamous ghost ship to sneak, stab, and spellcast your way through the Inquisition in this non-linear stealth strategy game. Dude, I've been enjoying stealth strategy games recently. Like I told you, the other one I just was playing was Eriksholm, where yeah, I just shared some snippets of this. This just came out the other day. And it has like freakishly gorgeous cutscenes and stuff. And a really amazing voice cast and everything as well. It's very interesting. If you like stealth, like strategy games and stuff, it's good. Is Eriksholm's good? Yeah, I would say it's good. I don't, as of right now, I'm only like a few hours into it. I wouldn't call it like a masterpiece or anything. It's exactly what it seems to be. So I'm still waiting for like a surprise or anything crazy, but it's, as of right now, got some phenomenal world building. It's beautiful, and it's from a team, and this is their first game. Like it's a small team. This is their first thing ever that they've put out. So even just supporting, you know, an up and coming team, I think it's worth checking out. But yeah, it's probably one of those like high 70s, low 80s games. Like it's short. It's like $40 for probably 10 hours of gameplay. So be aware of that. But the 10 hours of gameplay looks like this, you know, like the production value is crazy high for it being a game like this. You know, typically smaller teams, like tighter budgets, you don't see graphics or detail on this level, but it runs really, really well. The attention to detail is crazy high. You'll even see like just there, like you'll see people walking on the streets down below the level, even though you never go down there. Like they've even put in the little details of that. It's really, really cool. So yeah, I'd recommend checking it out. I think it's pretty good. Let me see. Arik, thank you for that. 8 months. Luke, have you seen the Dying Light Beast preview as well as FPS Ghost of Yote interview? I want to react. Yeah, the Dying Light Beast previews are seemingly very, very good. People are really loving it, and I think that's really good to see. So, I mean, that's awesome. As for Ghost of Yote, excuse me, Ghost of Yote developer interviews and stuff, I can break it apart. I just want to make sure that there's actually like something to sink our teeth into and tackle. Because, like, for example, they mentioned that the content of the game is about in line with Ghost of Tsushima. So the expectation is that probably Ghost of Yote is about 25 hours for the main story and like 40 to 50 hours for everything. So if that ends up being the case, I think that's a solid size for it. You know, not too long, not too short. So I think that's a good spot. But this also seemingly came from that interview as well. There we go. So I know some people were saying that they thought that this was going to be like 80 hours long. And I was like, I don't know, dude. I would not get my hopes up if you're thinking you're going to get 80 hours out of that. Like, I don't know if you'd want 80 hours. I feel like Ghost of Tsushima, by the time you get to the end, you're like, I'm good. You know? Let's see. Hey, Dad, what was your go-to Elden Ring build? I think first run was like a lot of magic. The second run, because they all kind of blend together now, because I mean we've all done multiple runs of it, but I think the second run I did a lot of I think the second one was the one where I used a lot of bludgeoning weapons, like the big heavy hammers and stuff. The third run, which I think is where I had the most fun, was just sort of a standard longsword, like nothing crazy fancy, just trying to almost like play it like Sekiro or something. Like, had a lot of fun with that. But the first run, I remember especially, I did a crap ton of like respecking and trying all sorts. Like at one point, I remember, I think it was for a video, I even respec'd and tried using the Sword of Night and Flame before they nerfed it. And that thing, dude, that thing was broken as hell. I mean, that thing was crazy. If you like min-maxed into it, it was ridiculous. So that was just genuinely fun, because like end game bosses and you're just 3-tapping them, you know. It was a little ridiculous, frankly. But have I checked out the Avatar update? Yes, we talked about it at the top of the stream. They are adding third-person support. They're updating it, and I mean, I think that's great. What's one of your favorite games that didn't review phenomenally? My recent one was Greedfall. Thought the world building was great. That's a good question. If anybody else has a suggestion for a game they loved that critics didn't, put it in chat. I think for me, what's a game I love? Well, Vampire, maybe. I point to Vampire a lot because it's just kind of, it's got some of the most clever ideas of a game I've played in a long time. It's just very unique. It's also 80% off on Steam. My goodness. Yeah, this one, the combat wasn't great, but a lot of the other things that they did with it were really, really interesting. So probably Vampire is one of those. Didn't review super well, but just genuinely really cool. VG247 called it an ambitious masterpiece. Wow. But it's 72 on Metacritic. So like it didn't review amazingly well. Worth playing for $8? Yeah. For $8, I'd recommend you try it. It's got some great world building. It's got the don't nod. Be aware. It's got the don't nod problem. If you don't know don't nod, their games have horrific lip sync. Like hilariously bad lip sync. All of them do. It's just a thing for them. They just have terrible lip sync. So be aware of that before you go in, but it's genuinely a really interesting game, because the whole idea is that you're a vampire and the game's scaling for difficulty is basically tied to whether or not you feed. So as a vampire, if you feed on civilians, you'll become more powerful and combat will therefore be easier. So if you want to like narratively be a good guy and not feed on civilians and innocent people, the game will be significantly harder for you because you are not able to level up like that. It's really interesting. It's very interesting. So, yeah, I'd recommend trying that out, especially for $8. That's a no-brainer. As for other games that I like that didn't review super well, I'm not even sure if this one... I may have reviewed okay. I was going to say Freedom Fighters from back in the day. Freedom Fighters. I did like Dante's Inferno. Dante's Inferno, just for some of the world building and stuff. It's basically just a God of War clone in broad strokes, but it has some really interesting imagery and stuff. Especially if you grew up in like a Christian or Catholic or something household, and you're aware of a lot of the imagery and things of hell and the depictions thereof. It's very interesting. So Dante. Oh, the original Toy Story. Toy Story 2. I think that reviewed well, though. The game. I want the game. Yeah, I don't think that they even reviewed it. What else? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. Concord. Yeah, I loved Concord, dude. Let's see. Quantum Break. Sinking City. Sinking City is interesting. I do like Sinking City. It's very clunky though. Very clunky. Be ready. Days Gone. Days Gone's probably a good one. Days Gone, I think, is just the quintessential example of a game that had horrible pacing, and as a result, it suffered. Like Days Gone, yeah, Metacritic of 71. But a lot of it is because, for one, the story's super predictable. It just is. Like, it's kind of like campy too at the end. Like, right as you think a big consequence is going to hit, they bail from it. But it also, the coolest mechanic that it had were these swarms of zombies. They called them freakers. They did not call them zombies. They wanted them called freakers instead for some reason. But they had this really cool system of fighting waves and waves and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these zombies chasing you down. But you only got to do that like at the very end of the game. And so it just felt weird that this was like your selling point, but you don't let people see it until the very, very end. It was just odd. Gotham Knights. Dude, I think the one thing Suicide Squad can tell us is that we didn't know what we had. You know? Gotham Knights was not very good. But I insist, I think it was a lot better than Suicide Squad. And when these two games were revealed at the same time, I don't think anybody thought that Gotham Knights would end up being the superior game. Like nobody thought that. But at least it was like a game, you know? Suicide Squad had like 2.5 hours of content stretched over 10 hours. And then some god awful writing, and oh my god, it's just don't even get me started. Gotham Knights has an just terrible ending as well, but still. Forspoken, I've actually heard a lot of people say Forspoken. A lot of people. Like Forspoken actually, a lot of people who could ignore the story got into the gameplay and really liked the combat system, which apparently did have a good amount of depth by the end game. It's just getting past that story, you know?
Donated $10 through Super Chat. To be fair, a barbed wire wrapped turd is good compared to Suicide Squad.
What an image. Was it wrapped before it came out or not? That's crazy. What an analogy. Yeah, that is fair, Jim. I'll give you that. That is fair. Yeah, I guess it's not saying much, but still. Yeah. Sorry, I'm amazed that this is going to come as a surprise. That made me lose my train of thought. Another one, it did actually, I think it reviewed well, was... Yeah, it reviewed pretty well. AC Odyssey. I still insist, I think that this is a really underrated fantasy RPG. As an Assassin's Creed game, it's kind of ass. But as a fantasy RPG and like adventure game, actually pretty solid. Actually pretty solid. If you're going into it expecting like stealth sequences and really cool social stealth and stuff, that is not this game. But this game had some really cool consequence and funny writing and memorable characters, and it's actually like Pretty solid. Pretty solid. I used to get a lot more hate for liking AC Odyssey than I do now. I feel like nowadays a lot of people tried it again and were like, oh, actually, yeah. But back in the day when this first came out, and I was like, I actually really like it. People did not agree. People did not agree. Yeah, and people forget, this also, even though it has an 83 on Metacritic, this was nominated for Game of the Year against Red Dead 2 and God of War 2018. Like, there were some critics that even put it up next to those. Now, I don't think it's as good as those, but it was nominated against them. Yeah. Oh no, Forspoken mod that silences main character. Dude, that would be funny, actually. It's all of a sudden, it's very playable. Yeah. Very playable. It had no chance. Yeah, it's one of those where everybody kind of understood. Order 1886. Yeah, I would actually probably agree with you there. I think it's underrated. I don't think well, okay, so we can't remove it from the broader context of when it launched, because it launched at a time where, again, it was full priced at the time in 2015. Full price. And as a result, I think you got to bear that in mind, because, yeah, E3 2014, look at this. It still looks good today. I mean, this is from over 10 years ago. It's outrageous. But I think, this could have gotten a sequel, and it could have been so freaking cool to see how that turned out. But we'll never see it now, because Ready at Dawn shut down. And prior to that, it was owned by Meta, and they were making VR games. And actually, the reason I have a statue, I don't know if you can actually see it in the frame. It's just next to Henry, so it's like right there. But I have the collector's edition of this on my shelf, because actually I think that this game is responsible for a lot of the cinematic direction that the industry went after this, because a lot of the people that worked on this game left and started working at Naughty Dog and Santa Monica Studio, and a lot of the big studios that would go on to make some of the biggest games of the PS4 gen, that were very cinematic and took a lot of inspiration from this game. So I think that Order 1886 actually had a much larger impact on the industry than it gets credit for. It's not selling well. That's why. I mean, yeah, ultimately that's a big component of it. That's why they shut down. But yeah, the Order 1886, I think, if you can get it for like $10 and you play it just as a piece of gaming history, you should. You should. It's almost like a little piece of gaming history, a little piece of gaming education. I think it's good for everybody to experience it at least once, I think that's the key. Milan, I'm sorry if I missed a super chat. I'll go back through and double check. Let's see. I asked you, what do you think about that Dana Favreau wanting to do a World War II action adventure game with Warhorse? Dude, whatever they want to do, I'm there for it. I love Favreau's work, whether it's Mafia or KCD. So I'm there for it. I do think that there is a place for more narrative heavy World War II era games. I still insist, I think it could be really cool to see an Assassin's Creed game set in World War II. We sort of got one with, maybe this is another answer to the question of one I think is underrated. The Saboteur. The Saboteur. Is it going to play a little trailer? No, this is a different game. The Saboteur. Hold on. The Saboteur. Here. Gameplay trailer. Ooh, baby. Yeah, it's basically Assassin's Creed like 1 or 2 in Paris in World War II. And it's not bad. It's actually pretty good. They also have this really cool artistic flair where areas that are under Nazi control are all black and white. But once you liberate them, they get color again. Which is just a really, yeah, see, so that's liberated, so it has full color. But when you go into an occupied space, it goes black and white. It's a really clever, like, little spin on it. And I think it gives you a taste of what an Assassin's Creed game made in this era would have been like if they had set it in this period. Of course, we got some little slivers. We got like, I think in AC Unity, I think it was World War II, and then AC Syndicate was the World War I flashback, sort of flash forward, sideways, whatever. But yeah, I highly recommend you go try the Saboteur if you haven't played this either. It's a very unique game. Very unique game. It's a deep cut. We should get a AC that takes place on the Titanic. Am I right, Luke? No. I love the Titanic I'm fascinated by it. I just find it fascinating. Shocker, I have it on the shelf behind me. But I don't think we need more video games set on it. I think we're okay. Corey Barlog's working on a sequel to The Order 1886. Dude, don't get my hopes up. If he did that, I would lose it. I don't know who owns the rights to it. I'm sure the rights probably went with Remedy or with Ready at Dawn when they got bought out. So I bet Sony couldn't even do it if they wanted to, but still, it'd be pretty cool. I'm amazed Avatar's getting any more support. I mean, you know why, right? I know why. This. It launches in December. Do you know when that update hits for third-person support? December 5th. So they're going to get the update right in time for the movie. Probably do a fresh set of marketing and commercials and stuff for it, and try to get some cash money on the Avatar hype, which I think will work. I think it'll work. Also, Jesus, it's 3 hours long. Wow. Okay. Well, for a movie that's like 5 months away, I'm surprised that they already have the runtime. But okay. Whatever. What is this? Billie Eilish and Avatar Fire and Ash director James Cameron teaming up for 3D concert project. Okay. The one thing when I went to Lightstorm, his studio where they have the sound stages where they filmed Avatar and all that, nobody calls him James Cameron. Everybody there calls him Jim. Like anybody who knows Mr. Cameron calls him Jim. Apparently he hates being called James. Which is a little funny because everybody only ever calls him James Cameron. But apparently he really doesn't like people calling him James Cameron. He likes being Jim Cameron, which is just a funny little fun fact. But now you'll see, if you ever watch like interviews of actors who have worked with him talking about him, they'll call him Jim, just casually. But like, yeah, and then Jim, we were directing the scene and Jim came over and talked about that's why. Yeah, his name is James Cameron, the greatest pioneer. Dude, James Cameron doesn't do what James Cameron does simply for James Cameron. James Cameron does what James Cameron does because he is James Cameron. It's true. Amazon's upcoming Mass Effect TV series shares Fallout's successful production team. They're just copy and pasting. They're like, you guys know what you're doing. Please do it again. Please. That's encouraging. That could be cool. Interesting. Dude, I hope they don't screw up the Fallout show. I mean, they're probably going to, right? Like, at this point, does anyone really expect them to like continue nailing it? Like, probably not. I hope they do. I hope they get it, but man. Season 1, I agree. But we liked season 1 of The Witcher too, and we all know how that ended, you know? Like, you have little faith. Yeah, I guess. I can't be hurt again. Same with The Last of Us. We all know how that went. We all know how that went. Oh, man. Subnautica 2 stuff? No news. It's basically just the lawsuits are starting and we probably won't hear anything for a while. But that's just how it is. Yep. Let me double check. Microsoft / Bethesda will never let gamers be happy. It says Blistered Soul for 2. Thank you for the 2. And I think they have some surprises. Yeah, that the good and bad. Good and bad. Yeah. But that Fallout project does look amazing. The fan-made Fallout project. Oh. Fallout 3 remake when? I don't know, dude. It's supposed to be out like really at any time. They could put out this year, they could put it out next year. Like there's plenty of opportunity. There's plenty of slots where they could do it. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. I think we got that. Okay. Nintendo Direct when? I don't think they need to do anything for a while. They're sitting on Donkey Kong. They'll probably do a Direct maybe January, February or something, and they'll put out, I don't know, Animal Crossing or what. I think they'll be good. How's Puppy doing? I can check him on the camera right now. Let's see. He is good. He is laying in the grass. Looks like chewing on a stick. So he is a happy boy. He's doing well. Doggo cam, let's go. Dude, that's actually a good idea. You guys, okay, who here is an OG to the point where you know what the Khaleesi cam was? Who remembers the Khaleesi cam? Anyone? Do I have any takers? Anybody remember the Khaleesi cam? That's like 2018, 19 probably. It's a while back. It's well before this channel existed. Way before. Yeah, way before. But the Khaleesi cam, Alan says, I remember. Yeah, for the Bearded Dragon. Yeah. I'm only 15, says Mr. Kittler. Well, so this would have been when you were like 8 or 9, probably. But basically, I had a Bearded Dragon. And I used to have this like really crammed setup in the corner of a room in our basement of our college house. So it was like me at the desk, and then Khaleesi was right here in her little glass terrarium and everything with her heat lamps. And so what I did is I had an extra webcam, and I ran it in with like a USB extension thing. And so we had a webcam inside her enclosure, and her name was Khaleesi, the Queen of Dragons. Yes. And so we would cut to the Khaleesi cam occasionally. And just be like, ooh, let's see Khaleesi. How's she doing? And it would just be her on her rock sitting and hanging out. It was cute. Where is she? She passed away. I forget the name of the disease, sickness, whatever that she had. But they call it like the stargazing disease, something. And it's because it causes their nervous system to seize up. And so they like tense their back and they just stare straight up at the ceiling, or at the stars. And some people, when they see it, they think it's cute because it's like, oh, it's a cute thing. Like, oh, she's like looking up and stretching, but it's actually because like her whole body is seizing. But if you look at the Arkham series critique thing I did, I posted this 5 years ago. Dude, we're up to 4 million views on it. Jesus. The opening of this. Do you want to hear old Luke? several years of work. I initially critiqued each of the games in the Batman Arkham series in their own separate videos. These were usually spaced apart by anywhere between 2 and 6 months. This video is the culmination of all of that work. All 4 critiques are in this video. Certain edits have been made, such as removing the intros and outros to make it more watchable in a single sitting. With that being said, it's important to note that I will spoil pretty much everything that ever happens in these games. So if you have not played any of them, I highly recommend that you do that before watching this video. And of course, I'd like to dedicate this project to Khaleesi, my dearly beloved dragon who passed away earlier this year. She's in several of the videos you're about to watch, so just know that this one's for Khaleesi. But with that said, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I love you all. Enjoy. Yeah, she would sit on my shoulder while we would talk about the Arkham games and everything. Atadinovirus, that sounds familiar. That might be it. Let's see. In bearded dragons. It's a viral infection most commonly seen in bearded dragons, can cause inflammation of the digestive system, liver, kidneys, and nervous tissue, as well as suppress their immune system. Common symptoms are loss of appetite, lethargy, because it can affect the immune system's ability to fight infections. Some may have problems recovering from other infections or illnesses and have recurrent problems with parasites. In rare cases, virus infects nervous tissue, may cause difficulty walking, controlling limbs, or stargazing, constantly looking upwards. And yeah, she had this. It only started to appear in like the last few days, and eventually she had what I guess you'd call it like a seizure, where she just kind of thrashed around, and I'm guessing it was probably like a heart attack or something, but she like thrashed around, had a heart attack, and she died while I was just like right there. It was a lot, pretty traumatic, more traumatic for her, I'm sure. But she, when I asked them about it, they were like, oh, well, this is probably something that she would have gotten initially at the like pet store, because I forget where we got it. It was like PetSmart or Petco or like one of those pet stores. And they were like, those stores are known for this being a problem in the bearded dragons that they sell to people. So she probably had it when she was a baby, like when you got her, and then she just lived with it. And apparently they only are supposed to live with that for like, a month, like a matter of weeks or a month. And she made it. I don't remember how old she was when she died, but she lived a pretty good long life for somebody with that virus. So she actually lived significantly longer than she was expected to with it. But yeah, be careful if you get a bearded dragon. Be careful to only get it from like a reputable place, because otherwise you can have an illness like that. But yeah, rest in peace, Khaleesi. Rest in peace, Khaleesi. She was a sweetheart. Would sit on my shoulder like a parrot. She's a total sweetheart. Yes. Do I have any stickers? Anything with stickers? We did a limited run of stickers of her face. Like it was Christmas, so I photoshopped a little Santa hat on her, and we sold little stickers for like $3. If you wanted a Khaleesi sticker, you could get one. My water bottle that has those stickers on it is upstairs. I have more of those stickers. I have like 100 or something still, or like 50 of them. I don't remember how many I have, but I still have some of those stickers. They're in a box in the closet.
To Captain Mordecai.
Jesus. But yeah, rest in peace, Khaleesi. She's a good little dragon. Okay. Enough sad things. Got a sticker on the PC case. Oh, really, Ismail? That's awesome. I'm sure Khaleesi appreciates it, even now, as she looks down upon us from Dragon Heaven. What happened to Blade game? They apparently are still working on it. When was that announced, though? Like, that's a good question. When was the Blade game announced? Game Awards 2023? Yeah, so December of 23. So it's been a year and a half. I don't know, the art style is crazy. I'm here for it. But we'll see. We'll see. They can't afford that to miss. They need that to pop off. It's a Marvel game. Like, they take 30% of everything, so they need it to blow up. Who's making it? Arcane Leon. The guys behind the Dishonored series. So, there's nothing out but the trailer. Yeah. So it'll get canceled. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Yeah. Hope they do better than Deathloop. Yeah, dude, Deathloop, that's one. If the other question, because you guys were asking what's a game that's underrated that didn't review well that you think is really good. If the opposite question is what's a game that reviewed well that you don't think is very good, I'd say Deathloop. I think Deathloop is like fine, but dude, this game got like 10 out of 10 scores from GameSpot, from The Gamer, 6-Axis, VGC. Inventive, delicious sense of style and humor. It distills Arcane's hefty systems into something more explicitly playable or playful, then leaves its sparkling cast to run riot in its huge interlocking puzzle of an island, one of the smartest and most outright entertaining games of the year. IGN gave it a perfect score. VG247 gave it a perfect score. And dude, I'm sorry. It's just not... I don't think it's a masterpiece. I don't see it. Like 10 out of 10, really? They're allowed to think that. They're allowed to have that opinion. I'm not saying that like that's unreasonable. I just don't see it from my perspective. You know? I don't see it. Luke, you might want to react to the meme channel. Owie, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Did Steam ban it for being an incest game? Dude. Yeah, I won't go too specific into it, but one of the plot twists at the end of Deathloop is so insane and is like it's so wacky that it borderline ruins the whole thing. Like it makes the whole thing feel so gross and uncomfortable. I just don't know what they were thinking. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh, everything's fine here. Everything's fine here.
Legitimately, the government thinks you are a fucking imbecile. They think you are a buffoon that can't rationally, sensibly think about anything, so they can just piss in your...
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. How PC players look at you when your $300 console runs at 90 FPS with 1 terabyte of space instead of costing $72,000 runs at 120 FPS and 38 yottabytes of space. That's just I'm admiring the painting too. Yeah. That's so stupid. That's funny though. Oh wait, confirmed. Breaking news: GTA 6 will not be released on the Water Ring Toss handheld. Will not. It will not. Damn it. God damn it. What else will they take from us? I'm so sorry, honey. I'm sorry, my children. There will be no food tonight. Somebody pirated a game made in 1995. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Window ad for some kind of salon looks like a Zelda boss. Dude, kind of. That's good. Cuphead bosses. Yeah, that's about right. Luke turning on Cyberpunk Reshape Vortex save game. Dude, it was so difficult to get that thing running at all. I still don't know what to do about it. It keeps crashing. After that stream that night, I still messed around with it for a while and I still couldn't get it working. I don't know what's wrong with it. I like manually went shift delete, permanently delete all the reshade files and everything. It still crashes like crazy. I don't know what the deal is. I guess I got to do, that's after a clean install. Yeah, Jimothy. Maybe I need to do a clean Windows install. Maybe that's what I need to do. I don't know what else I could possibly do to fix it. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, Deathloop, kind of creepy. I like a lot of the like gunplay. I liked the movement. I liked aspects of it. But I don't know how you get to a 10. Like, I don't know. I just don't see the 10 from my perspective. I just don't see it. Don't see it. Yeah. That happened with me with Fallout 4 for years. Couldn't get the game to work at all. Yeah, dude, I feel like I'm going crazy. I'm like, what is the problem? I know what's wrong with it. It ain't got no damn gas in it. One of these days, I'm going to sub and join the Discord. Looks like a lot of fun. We have a good time, Anthony. We have a good time. It's a good time. It's a good time. And then you can share memes, which is like 90% of what we do. You know? It's pretty much all you need to do to have a good time. Just share some memes. Also, can we appreciate that just a year ago, Sony put out God of War Ragnarok Valhalla for free? Like, how insane is this that they just casually dropped this for free?
Tell me, brother, why exactly are we doing this?
I must face this.
No shame in what just happened. It's all part of the process. Let's go again.
Dude, I'm so ready for whatever the next one is. Dude, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it when that happens. Dude, look at that. See, this is why my life is difficult. Okay, look at this. I see these like articles posted. Witcher 4 tech demo, Tides of Annihilation. Okay, and then it's right there. The Joker cinematic staring me in the face. Then Kratos meets young Kratos. 10 moments we were just frozen. Said, "Man, these are next gen graphics." GTA 6 trailer. Order 1886. All these solid ones, and then they just splice in Suicide Squad. Just to be like, hey, check it out.
Type anymore.
Maladaptive narcissists?
Comedians.
Come on, Deadshot! Sharko, you want to have a go this time? My hands are too large.
We sure about this, Director? Oh, this brings back memories of my old Suicide Squad.
Here we go.
They're all dead. What a tragedy. What a heartbreaker. The sprays of blood, the smell of singed hair, the viscera. Oh, the viscera.
Dude, it's just the most ridiculous, like trying way too hard to be funny. Unlike this is just accurate. This is just accurate. I'll give you that. You got me. You got me. More than one person saw this and thought this is cool. Put it out there in the world. Yeah, dude, literally. Literally. Oh my God. Anyway. Well, everybody, I hear the wife and the kids just got home upstairs, so I'm going to run up and help her put the kiddos down for naps. I'm going to go do that. You guys, thank you for hanging out with me today. It's been a wonderful day, a joyous day, dare I say. Yeah, anyway, good time to sleep. Yeah, exactly. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll be back probably Wednesday for the regular stream. possibly even the podcast if Jor is not traveling. So buckle up for that. It'll be a good time. And yeah, it's going to be good. Gonna be good. Until then, my friends, or in the bathtub, exactly. Much love. We'll see you soon. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.